substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
HD1 Pittsburgh,
an Odyssey Sports Station, live from the Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. Always live and free on the Odyssey app. Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
This is Sean Myers bringing you fan headlines. The Pittsburgh Penguins kept their season alive last night, courtesy of a 4-2 victory in Philadelphia against the Flyers, making the series 3-1 in favor of Philly. Sidney Crosby and Ricard Raquel each had a goal and a helper. Artur Shilov's got to start a net, make 28 saves. In the victory, that means Game 5 back in Pittsburgh Monday at 7 at PPG Paints Arena. The Pirates also prevailed last night. They did so in 10 innings, 6-3 in Milwaukee against the Brewers. Nick Gonzalez went 3 for 5 in the victory. Mitch Keller was solid. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 6 strikeouts. Pirates Brewers today at 2:10. Coverage on 93.7 The Fan begins at 12:30 with the North Shore Tavern leadoff show. And among the Day 3 selections for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 2026 NFL Draft, local product Navy running back Eli Heidenreich, who played at Mount Lebanon. He was a 7th-round choice. Fan headlines are powered by Bowser Chevrolet. For more, visit 937thefan.com.
Keeping you up to date, even on the weekend.
Did you hear that?
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, Pittsburgh's hometown sports station.
Very pleasant good morning to you. Sunday, April 26th, 2026. This is a Sunday morning with yours truly, Jack Hillgrove on 93.7 The Fan, on the heels of the Penguins avoiding a sweep. The heels of the Pirates clinching an opportunity to go for the sweep. And of course, on the heels of the greatest event in the history of our unbelievable city, the 2026 NFL Draft. And here is my thoughts on that to begin the show. And then we'll get into the Penguins, we'll get into the Pirates, and of course, we'll get into the Steelers draft class. I'm going to eat crow a little bit. You know, if you would have asked me a year ago, or even when the news broke almost 2 years ago that Pittsburgh was getting the 2026 NFL Draft, if you asked me then to make a gut reaction, place a bet on how I would think it would go, I would have said it would have been a complete disaster, a cluster, you know what. I did not think that our city, in the way that it's laid out, would have been able to handle it. And I am so happy to be able to come on the air this morning and eat that crow, because from everything that I've seen, both in person and online and on social media, it looked like not just a complete 180 of what I think a lot of people thought it could be, but potentially the best draft in a city since they started moving it around to cities 12 years ago. And I saw some people complaining about the setup, saying, not that great, but not a whole lot you can do, because everybody knows the North Shore is confined to a certain amount of space. But for what they were able to accomplish, for what they were able to pull off, and even more than that, The people in this town that went created an unbelievable atmosphere, an unforgettable atmosphere. And if you're a diehard Steelers fan and you call this city home just like I do, and you were down there on Thursday night screaming your head off, you deserve all the credit in the world. Because I was very, very proud to say I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, watching that first round on Thursday night. I wasn't there on Thursday. I bebopped around a little bit on Friday before heading over to the Steelers facility to cover day 2. But I was not there on Thursday. We did an hour-long draft preview show that aired in our market and in Pittsburgh and Johnstown and Wilkes-Barre. So that was my responsibility on Thursday. But once it was done, 8 o'clock, I was able to watch the draft on ESPN like so many of you that weren't there. And I was unbelievably proud to be from Pittsburgh watching that draft, watching the incredible people and the incredible fans in this city create an electric atmosphere and an unforgettable experience. And I think a lot of people are going to be talking about the draft in Pittsburgh for a very, very long time. And that's kudos to you, the fans, the beautiful people that hail from Western Pennsylvania and call Pittsburgh and the surrounding region home. You deserve all the flowers this weekend because you created an unforgettable and unbelievable atmosphere and experience for the 2026 NFL Draft. I was blown away. Sean, my favorite part of the whole draft, I'll say TV production, in between, when they're transitioning from pick to pick and talking about the pick and they have the graphic of the guy and then start rolling his highlights, having the CGI graphic above the Point State Park fountain and the city in the background, especially on Thursday night and Friday too, when it got to be dark with the city lit up in the background, I thought was so cool. And I thought that they did a tremendous job showcasing our city. I thought that the city did a great job showing itself off. And I'll tell you what, again, happy to eat the crow because I was scared, you-know-what-less, for the NFL Draft in this town a year ago. I was wondered, like so many of you, how the hell are they going to be able to make it work? And now I sit here on the heels of it, totally okay with the idea of them having it in Pittsburgh every year.
I would imagine from Pittsburgh's perspective, the fact that it seemingly went off without a hitch was so seamless. The issues with travel and traffic was way less than what was feared. It's all reason to try to eventually get it back here. Now, of course, I would imagine the NFL is going to do a rotation where they're probably not going to be in any city more than maybe once a decade.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how the NFL attacks it, right? I mean, it was a big deal. I was obviously a youngster for this. You might be able to speak more to this because you're older than I am, but it was a pretty big deal back in 2006 when the Major League Baseball All-Star Game was here.
Yeah, well, I even remember the 94 All-Star Game being here. So,
well, those were 12 years apart, and we're 20 years now away from the last time that Pittsburgh hosted a Major League Baseball All-Star Game, and it hasn't happened again. Maybe before 2030. I would hope before 2030 Pittsburgh gets the Major League Baseball All-Star Game again because PNC Park has made some pretty great upgrades since 2006 and since the ballpark opened in 2001, and I still think it's widely regarded as one of the best ballparks in America. And maybe Major League Baseball looks at the way that the draft went off without a hitch and says, you know what? Pittsburgh's overdue for the All-Star Game. Let's send it back there in 2028 or 9. I don't know how far in advance the Major League Baseball All-Star Game locations are set. But regardless, I just don't know how the NFL is going to attack the rotation and attack the planning year in and year out. Now, they're set out. The locations are set pretty much 1 year in advance.
And it's typically places that aren't going to be getting Super Bowls. Is that fair to say? Because I think we could say Pittsburgh's not getting a Super Bowl, right? As long as you have an outdoor venue, you're not getting a Super Bowl here.
The first time they moved it was in 2012, 2013? They moved it to Chicago first, right?
If you're getting Super Bowls on a semi-regular...
2015, I'm sorry. So they floated the idea of moving it, and then it was in Chicago for 2 straight years. And then in 2017 is when it started moving around. No, I would actually disagree with that statement, Sean, because Detroit had it in 24. Detroit hosted a Super Bowl. Las Vegas had it in 22. They either did or are going to. They did host the Super Bowl, and that'll be in the NFL's future. Nashville had it in 2019. I think the whole reason why the Titans built a new stadium in Nashville was because they think that they can host a Super Bowl. Dallas had it in 18. Philly had it in 17. Philly's definitely capable of having a Super Bowl. They hosted WrestleMania 40.
Do you think the weather, though, would disqualify a place like Philadelphia from having a Super Bowl?
Maybe. I mean, they did have one in New York. They did have a Super Bowl at MetLife. So maybe the weather would disqualify it a little bit. Cleveland had it in 21. I think that Cleveland thinks they're going to host Super Bowls once they get their new stadium built in a few years. Washington's going to have it next year. I saw Minnesota put a bid for it in 2028. So that's a city and a stadium that's capable of having a Super Bowl. I think it's just whoever wants to host it puts a bid in for it and will host it. I mean, I don't know that the NFL is necessarily prioritizing who can host it based off of, maybe they won't be able to host the Super Bowl or not. I'll tell you what. If it weren't for the size of Acrisure Stadium, if Acrisure Stadium got to 80 or 85,000, I'd say that Pittsburgh would be totally capable of hosting a Super Bowl. The NFL draft, there were reportedly 800,000 people here this weekend. If it weren't for the climate and if it weren't for Acrisure Stadium, I'd just think not being a big enough venue. I think Pittsburgh could absolutely host a Super Bowl one day. Like, here's the thing. Acrisure Stadium's not going to be the home stadium forever. Who the hell knows how long that has left? And obviously the lease and all that stuff above my pay grade to be able to figure out how that works.
You know what I've thought so much about during that, though? Because I always think, like, if the Steelers go outside of the North Shore.
I'm not saying they're going to go outside the North Shore. I'm saying, well, maybe the next stadium's got a retractable roof on it or is indoors. And if it is, guess what? Pittsburgh's going to host the Super Bowl.
But I think this was such a good weekend for the North Shore because I know you're way younger, but you probably at least have heard about, if not remember specifically with your own recollection, that there wasn't much down there 20 years ago.
No.
And that has become, I think, if someone comes into Pittsburgh and you're showing them around, you want to take them down to the North Shore
Absolutely.
now. And this was a great showcase for that this weekend. And I know even in the past few months, there's been additions with the big screen outside, the front entrance of PNC Park and everything.
Sugarbird.
I've not been there yet.
I've been by it multiple times, and it smells heavenly, especially when you're down there. Like I covered the one day game against who'd they play? San Diego? Yeah, it was when they played the Padres at home a couple of weeks ago, and there weren't a whole lot of people down there yet, so I walked right by it after I parked. It just hits you, the donut smell.
I mean,
right
it
away.
took 25 years, but I think we're pretty close to saying, like, the North Shore is in its final form now in terms of everything. I mean, you have Stage AE for about 15 years, and there was not much to do before or after a Pirates or Steelers game when it was at Three Rivers. And now it's just like that's a one-stop spot for either Pirates or Steelers. You could spend your entire day down there and have plenty to do.
Yeah. And I can't tell you how many times I've done that in my life when it comes to a sporting event, whether it's working the sporting event or just going to it. Like Pitt Notre Dame, 3:30 kickoff, college game day. We were down there by 8 a.m. tailgating, taking in game day. You go into the stadium at 3:30. You watch the game. You leave. You come back out around 7 o'clock. You have a spot to go down there to eat, multiple spots to go down there and have a meal and eat dinner. And then you've got several places to pursue nightlife till 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So between sporting event, sitting down and eating, and going out and being out all day and all night, like we were down there from 8 a.m. till 1, 2 in the morning and did like 3 or 4 different things. And you could do that with a bunch of different things. A 405 Pirate game and go to McFadden's or Tequila Cowboy afterwards. It's awesome.
I've seen you up on the bar at McFadden's before. I know how you
I
did.
have actually never been on the bar at McFadden's before, I don't think.
That you remember.
Fair enough. I've been on the stage in the 90s room at Tequila Cowboy a few times. Not as often as Austin Bechtold, but he's a frequent TC.
Singing Closing Time at the top of your lungs at the end of the night.
I'll tell you what, I don't know that anybody had a better weekend than that kid. 412-928-9370. Fan Twitter brought to you by South Hills Kia in Peters Township. Visit them at southhillskia.net. Texted him right away. So, I covered the Steelers draft on Friday night. So when you're at the team facility, you kind of get a little bit of an earlier inkling, whether it's from sources or just being down there and being in the thick of it. Like you get to know the pick a little bit beforehand. And I get word both from like seeing other people tweet, this is the pick, and then, a few of the people that I do have connections with inside that building, confirming with them. Drew Aller's 76th overall selection. I texted Austin right away, and I said, congrats, man. And he questioned it. And then gets word that that's what happened, and he...
See, I would probably not check my phone until the pick was made if I was down there. I wouldn't want it to be spoiled.
I don't know. Was he down there on Friday night,
yes,
in the mess?
He was.
Okay.
You got to check his Twitter, man. He was posting all sorts of videos.
I'm sure he was. Content Craig had to be very happy with him. Or maybe not. I don't know. But regardless.
All content's good content in Craig's mind.
Does that include Pony throwing out the address of the station?
Well,
inviting a guy to come.
Whatever happened about that, by the way?
I don't know. I was actually thinking about that yesterday, and I thought that hopefully this guy doesn't get his days mixed up and like catches me outside leaving and thinks I'm Pony.
Starts throwing fists with Ty Polk accidentally, something like that.
Well, hopefully Ty's not asleep at the wheel for that altercation. 412-928-9370. The fan text line brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates, personal injury law firm, where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. Here's the deal this morning. I wanted to get on a little bit of a soapbox and congratulate you, Pittsburgh, for creating an unforgettable experience and an unforgettable environment in our backyard this weekend for the 2026 NFL Draft. Now, let's get into our hometown football team and how we think they, I don't want to say took advantage, but conducted themselves as far as who they acquired, how they picked them, and how we think they fit. How did the Steelers do this weekend with the draft in their backyard? The first draft with a new head coach, the first draft with a GM, now taking an elevated role in the process. How do we think it went? 412-928-9370. That's going to be the main money topic this morning for the phone lines. The phone lines are wide open for you all morning long at 412-928-9370. Nick Faribault will break down the draft class for us at 9:05. We'll shift into the Buccos a little bit later on in the program. Colin Beasley will join us from Milwaukee at 10:05. We're with you until 10:30 this morning. We get an extra half hour together because the Bucks are in the, I guess that's the central time zone in Milwaukee, and they're an hour behind, and the 2:10 first pitch gives us an extra half hour together this morning. So Beasley at 10:05, and we take you up until 10:30. 412-928-9370. A through F You could throw a plus or a minus on there as well. How would you grade the Pittsburgh Steelers draft? 412-928-9370. I'm going to throw out my grade right now, give you a chance to react to it, let it marinate, and then we'll come back and I'll explain it. C-. I thought teams did worse, and I thought a lot more teams did better than the Steelers this weekend. But I just don't think a lot of these picks, including the first one that they made, make sense. And I'll explain that coming up next. My name's Jack Hillgrove. This is a Sunday morning right here on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
Sean Myers bringing you fan headlines. The Penguins extended their season last night, courtesy of a win in Philadelphia, 4-2. Sidney Crosby and Rickard Rakell each had a goal and a helper. That means Game 5 back in Pittsburgh Monday at 7 at PPG Paints Arena. And the Buccos claimed a victory in extra innings yesterday, 6-3 in Milwaukee against the Brew Crew. Nick Gonzalez had 3 hits. Mitch Keller gave up 3 runs over 5 innings. Pirates Brewers today, 2:10. Coverage on 93.7 The Fan begins at 12:30, presented by Keystone Custom Apparel. Headlines are powered by Bowser Chevrolet. For more, 937thefan.com.
Hey, it's Andrew Filipponi for the FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of 93.7 The Fan, and FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. We're talking special drops you won't want to miss, from profit boost to bonus bets and more. The best part, it's every single day. So whether you're betting the early game or gearing up for prime time, make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you. Head to FanDuel.com/Andrew to get started. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA, the Cavs. Our closest NBA city. They are looking to take out Toronto in the first round, so look for special drops on that series. Also, the other side of the state, Philadelphia, trying to keep it close with Boston. Good luck with that. And look for special promotions on that series, too. 21 plus in President, Pennsylvania. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
84 Lumber has partnered with Anderson Windows and Doors to bring a brand new showroom to Mount Lebanon. From homeowners to industry pros, everyone can see, touch, and interact with various series of Anderson windows and a wide variety of doors to make the most informed decision for their build. 84 Lumber experts are on site to demonstrate product features, answer your questions, and even schedule a visit to the job site for measuring and installation. Your budget matters, and flexible financing options are available. Call today to schedule a personal consultation at 570-507-8015.
Hi, I'm Julie Bologna, and I used to bring you the weather forecast to help your family navigate your day. Now I want to help you with the forecast to navigate your life as we age. At Julie & Gray Associates, they have helped thousands of families prepare for the future. Their certified elder law attorneys can help you with important life decisions involving long-term care, asset protection, tax planning, and avoiding probate. Visit grayelderlaw.com.
Hey, it's Chris Muller, and now's the perfect time to take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180, which has a very cool ring to it when you have the finish line right there, 40 by the 4th. Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 240 pounds. Be pretty cool to have it reading 200 by the 4th of July. Or maybe the scale says 300. I bet 260 would be a lot nicer on your knees and your joints, right? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. Now, I dropped 35 pounds in just 6 weeks. That means there's no reason you can't drop 40 or more by the 4th. So ring Independence Day in, shirt off, confident, and of course, the most important thing, feeling happy. You reached your goal with the help of Awaken 180. Crack open the beer, roast up the dogs, enjoy some of the good stuff because the weight's staying off thanks to free support for life. Yes, free for life, and they stand by it. Reserve your Pittsburgh location or at-home consult today at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a staff accountant at the height of tax season.
Congrats. Looks like the company owes, $50 in taxes. How about that?
That seems low. Why only 50?
Why do you care so much? It's not your money.
This is the job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today. And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game.
Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug.
Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down.
Hey!
Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
It's time for the once-a-year Spring Patio and Hot Tub Roadshow, only at Pool City. Pool City has Pittsburgh's largest patio furniture selection designed to last a lifetime. New or pricing, your choice for only $14.99. Plus, accessorize with a free outdoor area rug on your patio purchase. Complete your patio with new models from Jacuzzi. Huge deals at every budget, like the 6-person Sun and Soul Hot Tub, only $79.99. Pool City's Patio and Hot Tub Roadshow ends May 4th. Hurry!
Come on, Taylor, inform us. During the Jeep of Pittsburgh's Declaration of Deals sales event, what's your difference?
Bob, we keep it really simple. Bring us your best offer on any new Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram truck, and we're gonna beat it. Within minutes. No waiting, no games. It's as easy as that.
And if you can't?
We haven't run into that problem yet.
Get to Fournier's Jeep of Pittsburgh at the corner of West Liberty Avenue and Brookline Boulevard, or visit jeepofpittsburgh.com for all the details.
We truly are Pittsburgh's Jeep store.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Growing a brand is hard, but reaching the right customers shouldn't be. Meet Outcomes from Viant. We've built an intelligent platform that handles the complexity of digital advertising for you. Powered by advanced AI, we help your brand show up in the right places at the right time and ensure that every dollar you spend leads to a real business result. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Catastrophic injuries bring emotional strain, physical pain, and financial stress. You don't have to face it alone. Ogg, Murphy, and Perkoski will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Call 412-391-FIRM today. Ogg, Murphy, Perkoski, the firm. We're all in.
Live from the ShorkeyMitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. Live in local sports news on the weekends? Imagine that. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, Pittsburgh's hometown sports station.
Let's grade the Steelers draft together. 412-928-9370. A through F. I was thinking C- might have been a little bit too generous during the break. I've been saying C- all weekend. And the more and more I think about it, I think now I'm going to downgrade to D+. Underwhelming, to say the least. And it started right away on Thursday night. And I'm not even going to get into the whole Mekhi Lemon debacle. That is over and done with. And if he becomes a great pro in Philadelphia, so be it. It's the correct take on the Mekhi Lemon debacle is this, and then I'm done with it. If you choose to call in and talk about it, that's fine. But the correct take on the matter is this. There is nothing wrong with what the Eagles did and how Mekhi Lemon was drafted into the NFL. Pittsburgh, assuming that Dallas was going to stay put and pick a defensive guy, was what was the matter. If the Steelers were able to get Mekhi Lemon at 21, I would have jumped through the roof. I would have been excited. I think he's going to be a very good receiver in the NFL. But it was almost like they thought that Dallas trading out of that spot and somebody leapfrogging them wasn't a possibility. And the whole narrative that Omar Khan and Mike McCarthy panicked and went, this guy, I don't think's the case. I mean, you prepare a draft board for a reason. You know, I'm sure that the Steelers draft board has top players ranked, broken down by position, and top players ranked in order of, best to worst in their draft board. 1 to however many. And if Mekhi Lemon was first, Maxi Honachor was probably second. Or if Mekhi Lemon was second, Ihonachor was third. The point of the matter is this, is that Ihonachor, I believe, and I'm taking this to the bank, was the next best player they had available. So it's not like they panicked and randomly wound up with this guy at 21st overall because of the Mekhi Lemon situation. There is nothing wrong with the process after that. Where I have an issue is the front office and everybody in that draft room assuming Dallas was going to stay put at 20 and pick somebody on the defensive side, which obviously didn't happen. All right. 10 guys, 10 prospects, and I would almost give the Steelers a better draft grade if they came out and admitted or committed to the rebuild. Because this draft, to me, screams a team that isn't trying to win now in 2026, which we know is not the case in Pittsburgh. We know it's not the case. That's why they hired Mike McCarthy. And the owner said in the process of hiring the new head coach, I don't understand why you would waste a year and not try and win the whole thing. That's why you do it. But each pick in this draft, almost every pick in this draft, to me screams 2027. And it starts with Maxi Honachor, who I think could potentially be a very good tackle in the NFL. He is only scratching the surface. Didn't start playing football until 2021. I think he could potentially have a phenomenal career in the NFL, but it's going to take some time for him to ramp up and get ready to roll. Taking some time for him and ramping up screams, not necessarily a project, but a player that's not going to help you win right away in 2026. On LA sports radio this morning and all week, I'm sure the fans are going to be bitching and complaining about the Ty Simpson pick because that's a team that is built to win now with an MVP winning quarterback and two of the best wide receivers in football. They should have taken Mekhi Lemon. They were a game away from winning a Super Bowl. Get Matt Stafford one more weapon and hope that pushes him over the edge. Instead, a team that was one game away from winning a Super Bowl last year picks a player that's not going to make an impact for them in 2026. That's what they're complaining about in LA this morning and all weekend. They know that. What we have in Pittsburgh is reverse. What we have in Pittsburgh is a guy that is going to play right away in 2026, but it's not going to help the Steelers win right away because he's going to need time to develop and at what position, that's obviously still very much up in the air. It's going to be tackle. He was a right tackle in college. Can he play left tackle in the NFL? I don't know. He only started playing organized football 5 years ago. Can Troy Fautanu slide over to the left side? I don't know. This is only going to be his second full year as a starter. I think Maxi Honachor has what it takes to develop into a really good tackle. And a guy like the last guy that the Steelers took out of Arizona State, Marvell Smith, who wasn't a first-round pick. But Marvell Smith was on the Steelers for, 8-9 years? and then played for a few more seasons after that in the NFL, I think Maxi Honachor has that in him. But for a team in the Pittsburgh Steelers that are not committed to rebuilding and not committed to at least taking 2026 to figure it out, this is not a good pick. The same way that drafting Drew Aller, 76th overall, is not a good pick. You know, if you know me, you know where my allegiances lie when it comes to the college teams of interest in this town. And I'm sure for Drew Aller's Steelers tenure and the amount of times I'm given the opportunity to talk about the guy on this station, there's going to be a cluster of Penn State fans that are going to twist my words and make me out to think that I only hate him because I'm a Pitt fan and he went to Penn State. And that is not the case here. I am committed to giving Drew Aller a fair shot because I don't believe the Penn State Steelers crop gave Kenny Pickett a fair shot from the get-go. They ended up being right, but Kenny Pickett didn't stand a chance in this town from a fandom standpoint with the Penn State people that are Steelers fans. So I'm taking the metaphorical high road and I'm going to give Drew Aller a chance. But it's pretty black and white to me. Drew Aller is a guy that peed down his leg in every big college start he had. And against inferior competition, against all those, G6 schools that James Franklin scheduled in the non-conference, he looked like a top 10 guy. Against West Virginia, he looked great in 2 starts against the Mountaineers. Against inferior Big Ten opponents, he looked really good. But when it came time to play, the Ohio States, and the Michigans, and the Oregons of the world, not great. Turnovers, dumb turnovers. I'm intrigued by the athletic or the physical traits. I'm intrigued by the size. I'm intrigued by the arm. And I'm intrigued that a young player with those attributes is now under the molding of a guy like Mike McCarthy. I'm intrigued by all that. But I'm not going to sit here and be a hot take artist like producers on this station that have already claimed that he's going to be the next Steelers franchise quarterback. I'm going to use the information that I have available and make an opinion. And my opinion is that he will not be a starting quarterback or a franchise quarterback for any team in the NFL because I question the mental. I question whether or not he has it upstairs to handle big moments in the NFL because he didn't have it to be able to handle big moments in college. And, if Mike McCarthy had to coach up a trait or two and you didn't really have to worry about the mental side of things, different story. I really wonder, it doesn't matter which quarterback whisperer that's out there. I really wonder whether or not any of them are capable of molding the mental side of things as opposed to, the physical traits that come with playing quarterback at a high level in the NFL. 412-928-9370. Grade the Steelers draft. Let's go to the phones. Let's start with Buzz in Freeport. Hey, Buzz.
Hey, how you doing, Jack?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'd give him a D. I don't understand how, Rooney, he says it's a win now mentality, and then you draft your number one first pick as a project player. I mean, he's probably most likely not going to play next year unless the Steelers are out of the playoffs, like late in the year, they might play him. But I doubt he'll play. So how does that help the team this year?
Buzz, what should happen, and it won't happen, but it should happen, now that they've drafted a quarterback, and now they've drafted Drew Aller, and regardless of it being Drew Aller, it's a quarterback in the 3rd round, they should tell Aaron Rodgers to go take a hike. They should tell Aaron Rodgers. They should tell Aaron Rodgers to stay home. They should tell Aaron Rodgers to go in a hut somewhere and never come out, and just let either Mason Rudolph, or not Mason Rudolph, but let Will Howard or Drew Aller either prove themselves or not in 2026. And if Aaron Rodgers were not going to come back this season, I think Will Howard and Drew Aller would both get ample runway to prove whether or not if they're capable of being a quarterback in the NFL or not, and then you go from there after this season. But what that is not a win-now mentality, and that's not what's going to happen, and that's why they're still courting Aaron Rodgers for whatever reason. But to me, that's why a lot of this doesn't make sense. Like, I would give the Steelers draft grade buzz a higher one if they admitted to themselves, 2026 is about figuring out who we are with a new head coach, a new staff, and a new young quarterback. But that's not the case.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I mean, how many times the Steelers are going to draft a quarterback? Like, I mean, who would have thought 2 years ago before last year's draft that we would have the Ohio State quarterback and the Penn State quarterback competing for probably a backup job?
Yeah, I mean, if you ask both fan bases, I think they'd say no chance, because I think both fan bases respectively thought that Will Howard and Drew Aller were first round talents.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I like the kid from Alabama. I think that he's going to help us. Watching him last year, I thought he was a really good receiver. But whenever you get down to like that tackle from Iowa, I don't think he's ever lifted a weight in his life.
Well, see,
the kid,
Buzz, I like him a lot, Buzz, and thanks for the call. I want to get to Chris in a moment before the break. I like Jennings Dunker a lot. The way that they play tackle at Iowa translates very well to guard in the National Football League, and he was rated very high on, consensus big boards. And I think that there's a chance that Jennings Dunker is the starting left guard or right guard, depending on if they move Mason McCormick over or not. Regardless, I think there's a good chance that Jennings Dunker starts at guard week 1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think there's a chance that when it's all said and done, that Jennings Dunker is the best draft pick that they'll have in 2026. He's not going to play tackle in the NFL. He's going to be a guard at this level, and I think potentially he's going to be a good one. Chris in Swissvale is on the fan. Hey, Chris.
Good morning, Jack. How you doing?
Good, man.
Okay, yeah. After watching, 50 years of drafts, I've fallen to the top position of, I give everybody a B because they did what they're supposed to do, meaning they selected the players in the draft. Because as the famous movie producer, I think it was Albert Goldwyn, says, nobody knows nothing. You don't know what any of these kids are going to be. That kid that Philadelphia took might be the greatest deal the Steelers never made after watching his interview.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, Chris. But here's the deal: this grade, in a totality standpoint for the Steelers, would be higher, would be a B, like you're calling it, if they admitted to themselves that they're about figuring out the future in 2026, but they're not. If they came out tomorrow and said that we told Aaron Rodgers to take a hike and Drew Aller and Will Howard figured it out in 2026, then yeah. And they committed to Maxi Honachor playing and developing into an everyday and a really good either right or left tackle, then yeah, that's fine. But they're not about that. They want to win now. They believe that they can win now, and drafting another project tackle 21st overall and a mental project quarterback 76th overall that they're expecting to sit behind probably 2 guys, one of whom double his age. That doesn't add up to winning now in 2026. And that's why the grade for me is, C minus D plus. It doesn't have anything to do with how good or bad I think these players are. Mm-hmm. The players that they selected don't match what they want to accomplish this year or hope to accomplish this year. It's square peg, round hole from a totality standpoint for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure it does. And people need to accept the fact Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback for this team for as many games as he's healthy and wants to play. So that's what's going to happen this year. And the other thing is, and again, I respect everybody who had their own opinions about Connor Griffin and Indianapolis, but is there anybody that really thinks this kid should be going back to AAA?
Wait, you think he should or shouldn't be?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
He should have never went there in the first place. That was my point the whole time.
Whatever. I mean, I'm happy.
Now it's whatever.
I'm happy for the India because there's a conglomerate of India people that live in Indianapolis that like the Pirates because they're AAA teams there, and they got to see them for a cup of coffee.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm not concerned about the mental well-being of the Indianapolis AAA baseball.
Okay, but
fans.
all right.
I mean, the Pirates to win.
Yeah, I mean, Chris,
you play your best shortstop because the most critical thing to the defense of any team is the team behind it knowing their shortstop is going to make the plays.
Chris, they
you
played
put a mediocre
six.
Shortstop
They
out
played.
there,
They
your
played.
defense
Chris,
suffers.
they played 6 games without him this season. I mean, on a
Should have
bet,
played none without him.
Okay, and they'd be what, 17-10 instead of 16-11?
Who knows? Look at the middle. Look at the Central. There's no room to give away any games in the Central. The Pirates are in no position to give.
Where did that come from? Where the hell did that come from? They'd be.
Is he calling? Did you say that Griffin should be back in Indy?
No.
Is that what he's taking you to task for?
I don't know. Maybe somebody did or call. I've heard callers say that. I had mentioned that once he stays here, he stays here. And now, he has a 3-hit game and another RBI last night, and Chris is on his high horse saying that he should have been here from the get-go. Well, if he was from here from the get-go, he probably would have sucked at the beginning of the season at the plate, too. And for the defensive output, okay, yeah, they'd be 17-10 right now instead of 16-11. Give me a break. 412-928-9370. We're talking about the draft right now. Talking about what you think the Steelers and how they did, what grade you'd give them. And we'll come back with more of your phone calls. Also, didn't touch upon it yet. The best pick the Steelers made might have been their last one. And there's a whole lot of happy people up and down 19 in Mount Lebanon this weekend, I'm sure. We'll talk about Eli Heidenreich being a Pittsburgh Steeler after being a Navy cadet, midshipman, after being a Mount Lebanon Blue Devil. Fantastic story. We'll talk about it and continue to take your phone calls at 412-928-9370. I'm Jack Hillgrove on a Sunday morning right here on The Fan.
Now, Fan Headlines, powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
This is Sean Myers bringing you Fan Headlines. The Pirates won 6-3 in extra innings in Milwaukee against the Brewers. Nick Gonzalez 3 for 5. Mitch Keller worked 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 6 strikeouts in that 10-inning victory. Pirates Brewers today, first pitch at 2:10. Coverage on 93.7 The Fan. That begins at 12:30 with the North Shore Tavern leadoff show. Headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet. For more, 93.7thefan.com.
On your job site, downtime isn't just an inconvenience, it's a deal breaker. You need equipment that works as hard as you do and a partner who has your back. Experience the new Case difference at Case Power and Equipment of Pennsylvania. Proudly named the 2025 Case Dealer of the Year. Whether you are looking for the latest iron or need expert service to keep your fleet in the dirt, their pros are ready. With thousands of parts in stock, they're here to ensure you're always running at peak efficiency. Case Power and Equipment of Pennsylvania. Because with Case Construction, together, we won't back down. The Carpenters Training Center is holding its annual open house on Saturday, May 2nd. Doors open from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Bring the whole family and enjoy food, prizes, and Kids Corner. Their 4-year apprenticeship program is tuition-free, and you will earn competitive wages and benefits while you learn. Information sessions begin at 9 a.m. and noon. Learn about a career in the union building trades, as well as the pre-apprenticeship program. Join them Saturday, May 2nd, as 4th-year apprentices from their 6 crafts participate in competitions and demonstrations. Find out more at eascarpenterstech.edu.
Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi North Huntington's spring sales drive is on, and the year's best deals on new Outlanders are here. And now through April 30th, take home a new 2026 Mitsubishi Outlander with premium interior, advanced safety, and third-row seating starting under $30,000. Get yours today for 2.99% APR for 60 months. And with our trade assistance, get $3,000 minimum for your trade when you purchase a new vehicle.
Your deal.
Your way.
What a great day.
At Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi North Huntington. Call 724-995-3658 for offer details.
3, 2, 1. We have liftoff on Daily Rewards Rocket Turbo on DraftKings Casino, the exclusive iGaming provider of Foxwoods. Play $50 on your favorite casino games this week to upgrade next week's rewards. You'll get 4 chances at 10,000 in credits every day, land rewards, and use them to keep the fun going. Head to DraftKings Casino app and start playing to turbocharge your daily rewards. In in partnership with DraftKings Casino. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older, physically present in Pennsylvania only. Eligibility restrictions apply. 3 launches per day for rewards. Launches expire each day at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Earn additional launch for following week for completing play requirements. Play requirements vary. Non-withdrawable rewards and amounts vary per launch and are subject to game and expiration limits. Terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Sponsored by DK Crown Holdings Incorporated.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
Text us on the Edgar Snyder and Associates text line at 412-928-9370. Edgar Snyder and Associates reminds you to text responsibly. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, built by Window Nation, home of the buy two, get two free offer.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-265-7681. 800-265-7681. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-265-7681.
Homeowners, if your home needs a new roof, call a Platinum Preferred Roofing Contractor. Owens Corning only selects the best 1% of all its dealers, and JP Roofing and Signing has earned that honor. They've accomplished this through hard work and customer satisfaction and offer the best warranty in the business. Homeowners receive $500 off any roof or siding installation. Ask about 100% financing, no payments for 18 months, and free estimates. All that, JP Roofing and Siding. Give them a call at 412-829-7711. That's 829-7711.
Hey, this is Pony, brought to you by FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of 93.7 The Fan. And right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. From player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up. It's everything you need all in one app, so don't miss your shot. Head to FanDuel.com/Andrew to get started. FanDuel, the official partner of the NBA. First round going on right now, and there are local guys who are in this thing. The Lakers took an early lead on the Rockets in this series. Steven Adams, still a big-time player for Houston. All these years in the NBA, the former Pitt guy. Can Houston come back and win this series? They're going to be favored in most of these games on FanDuel, so check it out, the FanDuel Sportsbook. 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
93.7 The Fan is cleared by aquickdrain.com. We're here so you don't miss a thing.
Turning it up.
Live and local on the weekends. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Pittsburgh's hometown sports station.
Fan weather brought to you by Secure Money Advisors. Looking to retire soon? Let Secure Money Advisors get your retirement on track. Sunny but cooler today. High of a big 6'5". Erik Karlsson, who had a point last night, I think. Believe he had an assist on the Crosby goal. I'm at the point in the re-air of the broadcast on the TV studio TV. Under a minute, and they showed all the goofballs dressed in orange leaving early. Pens avoid the sweep. Look to continue to do so at home tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And we had, is it a YouTube comment? No, it was a tweet.
He did have an assist, by the way.
Presto when we make it to Pens Talk, am I the only one that thinks that if they take care of business tomorrow that it's truly wide open again? No, it won't be wide open again until they get to Game 7, if they get to Game 7. And that's the unfortunate reality you've got to deal with when you go down 2-0 in a 5-game series or 3-0 in a 7-game series. It's not going to be truly up for grabs again until you even it back up. And yes, the Penguins, I think, have a little bit of advantage going into tomorrow night. They won a big game. They avoided elimination. They come back home tomorrow night. But then you've got to go back on the road in Philly and win another elimination game. And that's why, even if it's a 3-2, if they win tomorrow night and it's 3-2, you still have got to go back there. Which, with how this team has played, and granted, you didn't see a whole lot of what you saw in the first 3 games last night. But with how this team's played, I just don't know whether or not they can win another elimination game in hostile territory again. Shout out to Artur Shilovs. Stopped 25 of 27, but they go to Shilovs in Game 4, and I'm not sure that Stuart Skinner was even the problem in the first 3 games. So did they fix a problem? No. But the duct tape, if you will, held up, and Shilovs played pretty darn well. Now they're in a spot where it's like, okay, what do you do? I would assume Shilovs starts tomorrow night. And again, I just don't think that Stuart Skinner was very much the problem in the first 3 games, or if he was like the third. If there were 4 problems, he was like the third or the fourth problem. And there were a lot more than 4 problems with the first 3 games, but he was very low on the problem totem pole, in my mind, after the first 3 games in this series. We'll continue the Pens talk throughout the show. And if you want to chime in on the Pens, 412-928-9370. Still talking Steelers, still talking draft, and now talking Eli Heidenreich. The Mount Lebanon product that is now a Pittsburgh Steeler. And that's awesome. The all-time leading receiver in Navy history goes to Navy after standing out at Mount Lebanon High School, and this was when I was not following a whole lot of Whippeal football, Sean Myers, so correct me if I'm wrong, but both Alex Teska and Eli Heidenreich were the standouts on the Bob Palko-led state championship team, correct?
That's correct, and it's crazy to think about because every single year you could just pencil in Pittsburgh Central Catholic and North Allegheny, right? Those are the teams playing for the titles. That's the one year that another team in 6A not only was in the mix, but obviously won the WPIAL, won the state title. I don't know that we're going to see another run like that for a little while because it's just been dominance from the Vikings. But yeah, that was a special season. And those guys, and they had a good quarterback too. I'm forgetting his name, but I know he was, terrific. I think they were all basically 3- and 4-year contributors, and you could see it building. And their senior year, it all came together. It was a very special run.
I also thought it was cool how he was able to be in the green room for that moment. And obviously the whole pageantry of the shot walking down the green room, they stop in front of the mirror, they put the hat on, and they take the camera looking into the mirror, and then it's the Roger Goodell moment. Those are all designed for the green room invited prospects, the guys that all go in the first round and get the jersey and the picture with Goodell and all that stuff. And Eli Heidenreich gets the invite to the green room for the next couple days of the draft. And in the 7th round, ESPN follows the same blueprint. The walk down the green room, puts the hat on, and Roger Goodell makes his way back up to the draft stage to greet Eli Heidenreich in his dressed navy blues. They share that moment, and then he has his own moment in front of not just a bunch of fans that root for the same football team that he grew up rooting for, but his hometown. The view of the Gold Lot, and a view that he's seen time and time again growing up and going to Steeler games. Is he going to make the team? I don't know. But what I do know is that it's a phenomenal, phenomenal story and well worth the 230th selection in the NFL draft. He's going to come here and compete his butt off. That I know for sure. And he'll have an opportunity to make the team and make the team he grew up rooting for. And if you don't think that'll add a little bit of extra motivation for him as, rookie minicamp gets underway and training camp and the proving ground presents itself for Heidenreich to make the 53-man roster or at least the practice squad, if you don't think being from this town and growing up, living, breathing, and dying by the Pittsburgh Steelers as a fan is going to motivate him more, you're crazy. Because it will, and I can't wait to watch him. I look forward to following his story, covering his story, and putting the journalist cap down when appropriate and rooting my butt off for the kid. Because, I had delusions of grandeur when I was a kid once too, and thought maybe if I could be a professional athlete, maybe I could play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That hope and dream died long ago.
I mean, don't write yourself off yet. There's still time.
Think I can get a tryout?
Maybe. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You suffer a debilitating injury that ruins and haunts you for the rest of your life?
That sounds pretty horrible.
Yeah, that probably would be the worst thing.
Yeah. I don't even know what position I'd play. I'd never played a down of football in my life.
You might be okay as a punter.
Oh, I can't kick anything. I never played soccer either.
A holder? Not like a backup quarterback, just a holder. You're a specialist.
If I didn't
holder.
have to be a part of a fake, maybe. I've said this before, too. Once I have the opportunity to have a child, I'm teaching it to long snap. 15 yards in 0.9 seconds, and my kid's a millionaire, and will play for 20 years and not have the debilitating injuries or concussion issues or anything like that, or at least have less odds of that being a thing. I'm teaching my son or daughter how to long snap a football.
I thought that I was a decent long snapper. This is obviously
Let me
not playing
rephrase that.
competitive
I'm going to
football.
hire somebody that knows how to long snap to teach my kid how to long snap, because I don't know how to do it either.
You still, though, have to be relatively big to do that at a high level, right? You're not going to be like 180 pounds. You probably, what do you, we think the minimum's probably what, like 230, 220 at least to be an NFL? No, probably more than that. You have to still be a pretty big body because you're semi-alignment. Once you snap the ball, obviously you have to do some blocking and then get downfield.
Well, didn't Christian Kuntz play linebacker at Duquesne? Wasn't that part of the whole?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
But you couldn't be, like I said, you'd have to be 200 plus.
Yeah.
Certainly. So you have to have a little bit of genetics on your side.
You can make it happen.
But you're a big hulking man, so I could certainly see your offspring.
Mm-hmm. Maybe one day. All right. Congrats to Eli Heidenreich and everybody that calls Mount Lebanon home. That was an unbelievable moment. 412-928-9370 as we continue to react to the Steelers draft. I did like some picks. I'll get into those next, and I want to hear your Steelers draft grade as well. A through F at 412-928-9370. My name's Jack Hillgrove. We're with you until 10:30 this morning at Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
HD1 Pittsburgh, an Odyssey sports station. Live from the Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. Always live and free on the Odyssey app. 93.7 The Fan. Your hometown building partner since 1956. 84 Lumber. Visit 84lumber.com.
Mike Rowe here with another fun fact. If your concrete is cracked or uneven, you can actually lift it back up. Whether it's a sinking driveway, a patio, or a sidewalk, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys. They're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to lift your concrete slabs. Baker's Waterproofing is now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
BetMGM, authorized gaming partner of the NBA, has a special offer for the playoffs. Sign into your existing BetMGM account and snag an NBA playoffs odds boost token. Then take your shot at scoring more on your next win. Simply log in, add a qualifying bet on the NBA playoffs to your bet slip and activate the token. If you win your wager with the token attached, you'll pull down extra winnings in unrestricted bonus dollars. Talk about a fast break. Make BetMGM, authorized gaming partner of the NBA, your home for playoff action with bonuses like odds boost tokens and more. Claim your odds boost token for the NBA playoffs and get in the game today. Make betting the playoffs more exciting. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. BetMGM.com for T's and C's. 21 plus to wager. Pennsylvania only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Be prepared with CHIP. Free or low-cost healthcare for Pennsylvania kids and teens. From checkups to unexpected bumps and bruises and everything in between, CHIP has you covered. Don't wait until you need it. Be prepared with CHIP. Because every kid deserves quality healthcare and every parent deserves peace of mind knowing their kids are covered. CHIP. Free or low-cost healthcare for kids and teens under age 19. Learn more at chipcoverspakids.com.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Getting around town's better in a new vehicle from Spitzer. Our triple play sales event makes it easy. Hurry into Spitzer Toyota today and lease a new 2026 Toyota Tacoma SR Double Cab from $419 per month with zero due at signing. Plus, get our lifetime warranty, complimentary maintenance, and Spitzer VIP points.
Whack more. Spend less at Spitzer Toyota Monroeville.
At Spitzer, our world revolves around you.
Select models TSRP 35599 VIN TT 044098 RWD model 7186 36 months approved credit through TMS plus title tax license registration 490.50 security deposit 10K miles per year ends 4/30/2026.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
With your fan headlines, this is Sean Myers. The Penguins victors last night in Philadelphia to extend the series. A 4-2 triumph against the Flyers. Sidney Crosby and Rickard Rakell had a goal and a helper apiece. Arthur Shelovs made 28 saves in the victory. That means Game 5 back in Pittsburgh Monday, 7 o'clock, PPG Paints Arena. Fan headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet. For more, 937thefan.com.
We're talking all things Pittsburgh sports all weekend.
You're doing it all weekend, too?
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, Pittsburgh's hometown sports station.
Hour number 2 on a Sunday morning here on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Happy to be with you. My name's Jack Hillgrove. First time in a week that I've graced the airwaves. Happy to do it. Happy to do it every time. The dream come true, quite frankly. Didn't do it on Thursday night. I've normally been Thursday night, Sunday mornings, but Thursday night, the draft extravaganza, and I have to give a shout out not to just my colleague, but one of my very good friends, Mr. Donnie Football, a.k.a. Donnie Chedrick. An unbelievable job anchoring the 93.7 The Fan draft coverage this weekend. Donnie and I go back to our college days at Waynesburg, and I always tell people that listen to Donnie and are fans of Donnie, well, I knew him before he was Donnie Football. And not only just how talented of a host he's become, but like watching how hard he's worked to get to this point in his career. I mean, you know, you're happy anytime that anybody works their butt off and it pays off for them, like Eli Heidenreich, right? I've never met Eli Heidenreich in my life, but he's from Pittsburgh and he went and served our country and went to the United States Naval Academy and now gets to live out his lifelong dream of playing football for the team he grew up rooting for. And that tickles me pink, and I've never even met the kid before. Donnie is one of my very good friends, and seeing him and how far he has come in his career and how much he's worked to get to that point in his career, all the accolades he's received this weekend for his hard work on the station, more than well-deserved. So shout out to Donnie Football. 412-928-9370. How would you grade the Steelers draft class? I'm going to go through it pick by pick in a moment. From a totality standpoint, it's like a C- or a D+ for me. And it's not because I don't think that the players that the Steelers drafted are not going to be good pros. It's that I think the players that the Steelers drafted don't really fit the, we want to win now mindset that this organization sets for itself year after year. Like, I would feel almost completely different about the Drew Aller pick if they already told Aaron Rodgers to go take a hike. They didn't do that. They're still waiting for Aaron Rodgers, and I would still venture to guess that Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback of this team in 2026. I hate to compare it to these two other franchises because these two other franchises are dumpster fires and potentially two of the worst ones in the NFL. But the Cardinals took a quarterback in round 3, and the Jets took one in round 4. Arizona took Carson Beck. Jets took Cade Klubnik. Both of those guys are going to get opportunities to play in 2026. Both of the teams that drafted them do not have talented enough rosters to win now. And I guess have committed to the rebuild. So anytime that you've got a team that is focused on the future and has a roster that is not good enough to win a Super Bowl right away, you know, regardless of who you draft, round 1, 2, 3, 4, all of your guys are going to get a chance to play and prove if they're a part of your future plans or not at quarterback. The Steelers have a much better roster than the Jets and the Cardinals do. But, you know, it to me, it's black or white. Are you a Super Bowl contender or aren't you? The Steelers aren't a Super Bowl contender. Their roster outside of the quarterback position is not good enough to win a Super Bowl. And they don't have a franchise quarterback, so they don't have that building block to begin, the quest for contentionship, if that's even a word. So if the Steelers would just commit to figuring things out in 2026, not even a full-on rebuild, just figuring out what you have, not just at quarterback, but at offensive tackle with the player you took in the first round, who I think potentially Maxi Honachor could be a great pro, but is a project and is a work in progress. He just started playing organized football 5 years ago. And he, in 5 years, became, basketball player, soccer player into first-round draft choice. And I don't think it was a surprise that he was a first-round pick, maybe going a little bit higher than a lot of people thought he would. But a lot of the reports that I've read and people that I've talked to, when we talked to Justin Loss-Tortosa from the Devil's Digest leading up to the draft about Jordan Tyson, I texted him and said, what do you think of Maxi Honachor? And he said, not surprised he was a first-round pick at all. That's where he's elevated himself in 5 years from the ground up. But he still has a long way to go to playing football at the National Football League level and tackle at that level. Makes him a project. Makes him a part of the future, not the present. The Steelers say, we're a team that wants to win now. Drafts a project tackle for the second time in the last 4 drafts. Drafts a quarterback last year that says you're very high on. Drafts a quarterback this year higher than the quarterback you drafted last year that you've told us you're really high on. And yet neither one of those guys are going to play this year because you're going to offer a contract to a 42-year-old? It just doesn't make sense for what the Steelers are trying to accomplish this year, and what they are trying to accomplish this year is not feasible. So that is my overarching complaint about this Steelers draft. Not so much the players and what that I think they're capable of in the future in the NFL, but for what the Steelers are trying to accomplish this season. It's a square peg in a round hole scenario for me.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers gets them good enough to where they can contend. And if I'm a Steelers fan, I don't want him.
That's also part of the delusion.
I don't want him back if I'm a Steelers fan.
I don't want him back either.
But I will say this. If you want Drew Aller to maximize his potential, because everyone says that word relating to him, and I know Austin Bechtold's a huge fan of his because he's a Penn State fan. I've seen every snap that Drew Aller took in college. Every single one. I saw him in high school in the All-American game or whatever. I don't think he will benefit from playing significant snaps this year. I think it would be detrimental if he has to play significant snaps. I would rather maybe he gets mop-up time, he gets, preseason game action. I think if he plays meaningful NFL snaps and more than just a handful of them, it will be bad for his development. I don't think he's anywhere close to ready. Maybe he'll never be ready, but I certainly think him playing a significant amount this year will mean a step back for his confidence, which is already probably a little shaken after a really rough season at Penn State.
Yeah, then have him sit behind Will Howard or Mason Rudolph.
I would legitimately rather see Mason Rudolph play over Aller this season. Again, knowing that you're not going to have a future with either Rodgers or Mason Rudolph as your guy. But I think for his long-term development, Aller's best bet is to basically redshirt this season. He is not ready to play in the NFL at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. But my point is this, what sort of avenue does he have right away to prove whether or not he's a franchise quarterback? And I'm going to get to that in a moment, but I want to get to John and Charleroi, who's been on hold. Hey, John.
Hey, good morning, Jack.
Good morning.
Hey, I'd say I'd have to give it a C+ grade. Where the draft started and where it ended up, it was like two sides of the spectrum there. Obviously there's a lot of unknowns, especially with the first round pick. I'm in the middle on Aller. That could go either way. I just think he was in the wrong system. Maybe it'll make a difference being in McCarthy's system. I really like the kid from Iowa, the punt returner, I should say, and the lineman. So I like those two picks. Overall, like I said, I give it a C+.
Yeah, that's optimistic, John, and a positive outlook on it. Thanks for the call. I'm high on. I like Caden Weechin in the 4th round, maybe a little high for a special teams only player, but we know that Caleb Johnson had a short leash at it last year, and I think won't be returning many kicks this year, and Calvin Austin is no longer with the team, so they have a need in that spot. They sort of addressed it with Jeremy Bernard, my favorite pick in the draft. But Weechin fills a need right away. He's going to return kicks. And, on day 2, and that's all he can do, hopefully he's really good at it. Jennings Dunker, I like a lot. My 2 favorite picks in this draft, 1A and 1B, are Jennings Dunker, the tackle turned guard out of Iowa, and Jeremy Bernard, the receiver out of Alabama. Jeremy Bernard, I'm most excited for because he can do a whole lot of different things. Primarily lined up on the outside last year at receiver, over 480 snaps on the outside, but also had 300 snaps in the slot. And even though he was primarily a guy on the outside as opposed to a slot receiver, the sample size in the slot in Alabama last year is nothing to scoff at. And that's where he fits right away. Not only that, right, you've got an offensive mind in there in Mike McCarthy. There will be, and one of the things that we all knew was going to happen this year with an offensive-minded head coach is more runway for better offense and more creative offense and, more of scheming guys open, something that we haven't really seen a whole lot of the last several years in Pittsburgh. Like a lot of the offensive potential is unlocked now with Mike McCarthy. And, we use the phrase scheme guys open. I think you can scheme a bunch of different things for Jeremy Bernard. He can run pretty much every route in the book. You can line him up inside or outside. You can line him up in a wildcat situation in the backfield. And he ain't afraid to do the dirty work either. Gritty player and can block. So you could do a whole lot of things with this cat from Alabama, who's only gotten better as his college career has gone on. And now the Steelers finally draft a receiver in the first couple of rounds that won't be relied upon to do a whole lot right away. Because Roman Wilson's still going to have somewhat of a leash, I'm sure. Don't know how short nor long the leash will be with Roman Wilson, but this is year 3 for him, and that's probably one of the main guys that Jeremy Bernard will compete with. But more than that, you've got Michael Pittman and DK Metcalf in that room. So Jeremy Bernard can focus right away on becoming the every down or everyday wide receiver 3 and build from there. There's not going to be a situation in which he's relied upon to do a whole lot and have a bigger role as a rookie, even though I think he'd be potentially okay to handle it. And above all else, this organization drafts receivers really well in the second and third rounds of the draft. Yes, it was unfortunate that it wasn't Mekhi Lemon right away, but I think the Steelers pivoted well to receiver in round 2, trading up to get Jeremy Bernard, who I think could be a really, really good player when it's all said and done. I like Jeremy Bernard. I like Jennings Dunker. I don't know a whole lot about Dalen Everett, the cornerback that they took 85th overall out of Georgia. Another one I think that kind of slides into a low-pressure situation. You got good stuff out of Brandon Echols last year. I think Jalen Ramsey now kind of falls back into the slot corner role. You obviously signed Jamel Dean, and you have Joey Porter Jr. So Dalen Everett, the corner out of Georgia, I don't think is going to be in such a high-pressure situation. I don't know a whole lot about him. He's super athletic. Combine numbers were off the charts. But what's the discipline like at that position? Can he maintain himself, or is he a walking PI? I don't know. We're going to find out, so I'm indifferent on the pick. Love Jennings Dunker. I think he's going to start right away at either right or left guard, probably left guard. Caden Weechin, the wide receiver on paper out of Iowa, he's going to be a kick return specialist. He had 3 punt returns for touchdowns, 3 or 4 of them last year at Iowa. Potentially an elite player at that position. And if he is, then it's worth it in round 4. But for a guy that's not going to be able to do a whole lot offensively until he proves himself as a big-time kick returner in the league, I'm going to be wary of taking him as high as they did. Riley Nowakowski, Connor Hayward 2.0. Maybe fits the fullback role a little bit better. I like that pick a lot in round 5. Robert Spears-Jennings, safety out of Oklahoma in the 7th round. Didn't miss a whole lot of tackles at Oklahoma. Started pretty much every game for 2 years. Adds to the depth in that room. And the one that I really don't get at all is Gabriel Rubio. The consensus 635th best prospect in this draft. Taken in the 6th round. A guy that for all intents and purposes might have been a guy that they would able to get as an undrafted free agent. You know, I don't want to split hairs and bitch about a 6th round pick and say, what are we doing? Because at that point, it's like your guess is as good as mine with some of these guys. But I look at it like this. Number 1, 635th consensus prospect. And number 2, I work with a diehard Notre Dame football fan. Several diehard Notre Dame football fans at WTOV. None of them even knew who Gabriel Rubio was. So I'm not banking on Gabe Rubio being anything to write home about as far as, you know, defensive tackle goes as a 6th round selection. If I were to rank them, I'd go Bernard 1, Dunker 2, Ihonachor 3, Weechin 4, and then a big drop-off of how I would rank the Steelers draft picks best to worst. I'd go Riley Nowakowski 5, and then a big drop-off. And then maybe go with, I guess we throw Eli Heidenreich in there. And then Drew Aller. And then Robert Spears-Jennings, and then Gabe Rubio. That if we're going to rank them, in my mind, best to worst.
Do you know what position they're looking at Heidenreich as? I'm assuming it's not just as a standard running back. I know he was a big-time pass catcher, but I thought he would be more of like the H-back, fullback type that Nowakowski basically seems like he'd be. Are they comparable?
I think Heidenreich is more of a running back / receiver as opposed to a tight end / fullback. And I don't know that the way that he played at Navy translates to fullback.
I just wonder how they envision using it. Again, I know it's going to be a long shot for him to contribute, but I just wonder how they envision using him because I think you would probably hear the term Swiss Army knife for a running back who's such a good receiver, but it sort of seems like maybe it's 2 guys battling potentially for one spot. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I just don't know that they would have room for another just standard running back.
I think that Eli Heidenreich's opportunity to make the team is as the 3rd running back. I think he'll compete with Caleb Johnson for that role. And
man, that would be something if Johnson's already done after just 1 year.
I'm not going to, this is a new coaching staff, and they, might view the last couple of draft picks. You're not going to cut a 1st or a 2nd round pick, but any of those guys taken late day 2 or day 3 the last few years, I wouldn't be surprised if this coaching staff has an overall different opinion of guys like Caleb Johnson. So it would be interesting. It would suck for him if they cut him after 2 years, but that I think is the most likely avenue for Eli Heidenreich to make the team. Competing with Caleb Johnson. They're going to keep probably between the tight ends and running backs 7 guys Jalen Warren, Rico Dowdle for sure, Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington for sure. And then the last 3 spots will be up. Riley Nowakowski will make the team, draft pick 5. Caleb Johnson, that's 6. And do they keep a 4th running back, or do they keep a guy like Eli Heidenreich as the Swiss Army knife type guy? Because Connor Hayward's gone and Jonnu Smith's gone, so they kept 4 tight ends last year and 3 running backs. Do they now keep 4 running backs and 3 tight ends? Maybe. So that, it'll be interesting to see, but as a 7th round pick, I'm going to say an uphill battle because he was drafted. It's not like he's coming in here as an undrafted guy that's got to make the team, but an uphill battle nonetheless. 412-928-9370. How would you grade the Steelers draft class in 2026? 412-928-9370. A through F, C minus, D plus for me. What say you? We'll take your calls and we'll get to the phones when we come back at 412-928-9370. I'm Jack Hillgrove. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Now, Fan Headlines, powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
This is Sean Myers with your Fan Headlines. The Pirates won 6-3 in 10 innings on Saturday in Milwaukee against the Brewers. Nick Gonzalez had 3 hits. Mitch Keller worked 5 strong innings, giving up 3 runs with 6 strikeouts. Pirates and Brewers today at 2:10. Coverage on 93.7 The Fan begins at 12:30 with the North Shore Tavern leadoff show. Headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet. For more, 937thefan.com.
I'm Larry Kelly from the injury firm of LGKG. When our fellow Western Pennsylvanians suffer terrible injuries, tragic losses, and immense financial hardships through no fault of their own, who fights for them, Joe?
We do, Larry. That's where LGKG comes in, holding the negligent accountable for the pain and suffering they cause.
History, trust, and results.
And success. More than $200 million recovered and over 10,000 clients served. That's the LGKG story.
At LGKG, we stop at nothing for justice. At LGKG, we try cases, and insurance companies know it.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You need a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. Switch today. Get started with a great offer as low as $60 a month. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Offer ends 6/1/26. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. 1-year agreement, eco-bill, and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Our yoga instructor challenged us to find inner peace. I found it faster than anyone. After 4 seconds, I stood up and screamed, "I found Nirvana! I win!" They asked me to leave. I guess they don't respect winning. Bet365 does, though. New customers get $200 in bonus bets just for betting $10. Namaste, losers. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
84 Lumber has been building America for 70 years. Whether you're a homeowner starting your first project or a pro on the job, 84 Lumber offers the kind of personalized expertise you won't find in a big box store. They're more than just lumber. From windows and doors to siding, trim, and decking, 84 Lumber has the materials you need to get it done right. With 14 locations across Pittsburgh, there's one near you. Visit 84lumber.com to find your store. 84 Lumber, your hometown building partner for 70 years.
In digital advertising, everyone talks about clicks, but clicks don't pay the bills. Sales do. Outcomes from Viant is a new way to advertise that prioritizes your bottom line. Our AI-driven technology looks past the noise to find the customers most likely to buy your product. It's smarter, faster, and designed for real-world results. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I am grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
On your job site, downtime isn't just an inconvenience, it's a deal breaker. You need equipment that works as hard as you do and a partner who has your back. Experience the new Case difference at Case Power and Equipment of Pennsylvania. Proudly named the 2025 Case Dealer of the Year. Whether you are looking for the latest iron or need expert service to keep your fleet in the dirt, their pros are ready. With thousands of parts in stock, they're here to ensure you're always running at peak efficiency. Case Power and Equipment of Pennsylvania. Because with Case Construction, together, we won't back down.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-507-9701. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-507-9701. That's 800-507-9701. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
After an accident, you need an injury attorney who fights for you. Ogg, Murphy, and Perkoski are ready to take on the insurance companies and win you the compensation you deserve. Call 412-391-FIRM. Ogg, Murphy, Perkoski, the firm. We're all in.
Hear that? That's the sound of another savvy driver rolling into Valvoline Instant Oil Change. No hassle with appointments or dealer wait times. That's one smart bell.
Live from the ShoreKeyMitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills.
Fan Twitter brought to you by South Hills Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Good job,
the
Jack.
text line, yep. Same thing happened last week, so I wanted to make sure we got it right. Fan Twitter brought to you by South Hills Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Route 19, Peters Township. And the text line brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates, personal injury law firm, where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. My name's Jack Hillgrove. This is Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Sunday same game parlay after Colin Beasley this morning at 10 o'clock. We were 4 for 5 last week.
Close, but no cigar.
The first 4 out of 5 are on the Sunday SGP this week, this season.
If it was horseshoes, you'd be sitting pretty.
Yep, but it ain't. The only one we missed was O'Neal Cruz to record an RBI in that game against Tampa last Sunday. Everything else hit Pirates money line in 5 innings. The over of 7.5. Pirates over 3.5 total runs, and Mitch Keller over 4.5 strikeouts. So we'll cook one up. Colin Beasley, even last night when I texted him about coming on this morning, gave me a leg of the parlay. So we're going to throw that in there as well. We'll continue to talk Bucks, who go for the sweep today in Milwaukee against the Brewers at 2:10. Carmen Majinski on the bump for the Buccos. The North Shore Tavern leadoff show. What time? 12:30? Thank you, Sean. 412-928-9370. Talking Steelers draft with Zach, who's on the Fan. Hey, Zach.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man.
All right, well, I am very underwhelmed about the draft. I'm sure you feel the same way. My big takeaway was the guys they took from the Navy it's like, let's go. But it's the guy and all that, like, that was like a big Steelers move. And I almost wonder if, like, they took that tackle to try to get Aaron Rodgers back. But the Drew...
Well, I don't know. I mean, no, I don't think so, Zach, and thanks for the call. I mean, he's a project, and it's going to take a lot of work for him to be a viable option at tackle. Not only that, but you've got to either move him to a spot that he didn't play in college, which is left tackle, or move Troy Faltanu over there, a spot that he hasn't played in the NFL yet. So, and didn't play a whole lot of in college. So, no, I don't think that that's a move that would entice Aaron Rodgers to come back. And even if they took that into account, that would be a shame, because I don't think Aaron Rodgers should come back, especially after they drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round. Let's go to DJ, who's on the Fan. What's up, Deej? DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on the Fan. What's up?
Yeah, I was just calling to give him a grade about a D.
Okay.
I'm like the other caller, very underimpressed. I don't know if this is a sign of the new regime or whatever, but not very good. I think that last pick was, they get cutesy. They want to be political and social and all that else. This is football, buddy. There was a running back named Donaldson out of Ohio State, if you wanted a big burly guy. Instead of making cutesy little picks like that, if they wanted to be cutesy, why didn't they pick the guy from Yale? Josh Pitzenberger. That would have been cute too, I don't know what's going on with the Steelers. They're trying to be too social. I could see Rooney laughing like when they clapped for the Navy guy. I don't have nothing against military, but this is football, buddy. And if you want something bad enough, you go get it. It's a shame what the Ravens did to us. If you want to get married and you know the girl, go get her. Don't mess around with second and thirds. Anyhow, I'm done. That's all I have to say.
I wish I could follow any of that, DJ. Thanks for the call. Let's go to Roland, who's in the car. Hey, Roland.
Hey, what's going on? How are you this morning?
Good, man. Hopefully this one goes a little bit better than the last one. It was all over the place with a bunch of analogies that didn't make any sense to me. So no pressure.
I'm going to do my best and stay off of the wedding analogies here for you. So I would give him a B-. I like the draft class overall. Ihanator was, I think, a good need pick. Jeremy Bernard, I agree with you, probably the best pick of the draft. He's a real impact guy at first. I think where people are maybe not seeing the vision of, Omar and McCarthy are the picks like Weegen and Heidenreich and Nowakowski, I think his name is. Yeah. But I think that if you look back at Dallas's roster when McCarthy was there, those are players that he not only valued but used quite a bit. Dallas had gadget guys like Kavontae Turpin and Jalen Tolbert, who they used a lot. They valued what they could do in the return game as field flippers. And we didn't really have that on our roster. So they went out and got Weegen. And then you look at kind of those tweener, up back, running back hybrid, type of guys who we clearly, valued and drafted. Like he used those in Dallas all the time.
Yeah, here's the thing about...
I think they're filling needs on the roster for McCarthy.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And here's the thing about Weegen, Roland, is that Calvin Austin was a 4th-round pick and, could be an impact guy in the return game. We saw that, but in glimpses, he was a pretty darn good receiver, and I feel like because he could do a little bit of both, worth the 4th-round pick. I don't know how much Weegen can contribute as, a guy offensively in the NFL. Now, granted, if they took him in the 4th round and he becomes... one of the best return men in football, and that's his only role, but he's really, really good at it, then absolutely the 4th-round pick. But it's interesting that you bring up the guy, that kind of player from McCarthy, because Jeremy Bernard is that kind of player. But what Jeremy Bernard has that Weegen doesn't have is the size, and I think maybe a little bit more athleticism to be a guy that's on the field for 3 downs, and that athleticism allows him to do a bunch of different things, because Bernard lined up, in the backfield and at Wildcat and in the slot and did a bunch of different things at Alabama. Alabama and at Washington for Kalen DeBoer. So that's why and I agree with you there, but the athleticism and the size a little bit for Bernard, I think fits that mold a little bit better. But I mean, that's probably the most reason why I'm most excited about Bernard is because the size and the athleticism and, and the NFL can change you. I understand that, but it seems like the Steelers got a no drama receiver in the second round, which is like a foreign concept to this franchise in the last decade plus. So hopefully that trend continues, but that's my favorite pick, no doubt.
Yep. All right. Thanks for taking my call. Have a good one.
You too, brother. 412-928-9370. 93.7 The Fan of the Pittsburgh Pirates. They want to visit your teams in action for our youth baseball and softball showcase. Parents and coaches, send us an email to youthsports@937thefan.com to register your 12 and under team. And 93.7 The Fan may make a stop to your field. It's brought to you by Keystone Custom Apparel. More details at 937thefan.com. Paul in Washington. Paul, did you go to the draft? Did you make your way up 79 and get your butt there? Were you there?
No, sir. I did not go. I saw it from the bridge on Thursday and Friday. It looked nice there. You could see the stage from the Fort Duquesne Bridge and everything. But no, I wanted no part of all them people, and it just, it didn't thrill me. Maybe if I was your age, it would have thrilled me, but the thrill was gone at my age. But getting back to the subject at hand again, here we are still talking about Aaron Rodgers and the embarrassment that he's causing this franchise by treating us like the girl at the high school dance that everybody wants. Enough of Aaron Rodgers. The draft told us two things. Omar Khan got conned because he didn't jump to it when he should have. And number two, that Will Howard, Mike McCarthy's telling us a fib when he says he really thinks Will Howard's good, because if that was the case, Drew Aller would have never been drafted.
Here's my thing, Paul. If they were going to, and I said this from the outset, if they were going to go with a quarterback, round 3, 4, 5, higher than Will Howard, and you might look at it and say, well, they took a quarterback higher than they took Will Howard. It shows you what they think of Will Howard, and I get that argument. But if they would have taken a guy like Taylon Green from Arkansas, at least that gives you a different type of quarterback in the room. Like if they would have went into next season, right, and it was Taylon Green and Will Howard duking it out for QB2 behind Rodgers, at least you have the prototypical pro-style guy and then the freak athlete and the more mobile option. And maybe that's not Mike McCarthy's bread and butter, but in his opening press conference, McCarthy raved about how important it was to have a mobile quarterback. And to me, if it was Taylon Green, that wouldn't necessarily indicate that they didn't believe in Will Howard. They just gave themselves another option because Taylon Green's got different traits. Drew Aller doesn't. I mean, him and Will Howard are the prototypical pro-style guys. Howard might be a little bit more mobile, but I'm with you. I think Drew Aller in the third round tells me exactly what you just said. They aren't sold on Will Howard like Mike McCarthy, led everybody to believe in his opening press conference.
Well, I agree with you 100%, and I was hoping when Taylon Green, I think that's his name, was still on the board, you could have used him like a Swiss Army knife. You could have put him at receiver. You could have lined him up in the slot. You could have probably used him on kick returns and punt returns. You could have used him, period. He would have been worth a draft pick right there just to see what you got. But the Steelers have so many issues. I wish people would take the blinders off, especially Filippone and Muller. Them two, I mean, if that would have been a guy from Syracuse that got drafted, we'd have never heard the end of it. But because it was City Limits' boy, Drew Aller, and we all see what Aller did, and we all know James Franklin is the college equivalent of Mike Tomlin. He's a talker. That's all he is. He can recruit guys, but when he gets all the ingredients to make the spaghetti, he don't know what the hell he's doing. Mr. Hillgrove, you have a good day, and congrats to City Limits. Congrats to Drew Aller. Congrats to the kid from Mount Lebanon. I commend the Steelers for that. But Omar Khan, you got a lot to learn about drafting in the NFL, my friend. Have a good day, Jack.
All right, Paul. Yeah, early reports suggest that Austin has had to change pants multiple times this weekend. Let's go to Jeff and Shaler. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, good morning. I have to, I don't know how I could follow that because it's not going to be nearly as good.
Well, you could try your hardest.
I thought it was a D-plus draft at best. I felt like it was like a big fight, like a title fight, where the guy gets punched in the face in the first round, and then they're woozy the rest of the fight. They obviously wanted Lemon, and then when that happened, it felt like they had no plan. There was no plan they had more draft capital than in recent memory, and all they could come out was a offensive lineman who is a project at best in the first round.
Yeah.
I don't think that's great strategy. And the impact players are in the first two rounds. After that,
you've got to do your due diligence to find the impact players on late day 2 and early day 3, Jeff. Thanks for the call. But yeah, that's a good analogy. And, the argument that I've seen in the YouTube chat this morning, which is lively, and I appreciate it as always, but the argument that I've seen and that I've heard this weekend is, well, Makai Lemon's going to suck anyway. Did you see his interview at the Combine? He's going to be a bust. I mean, you can have that opinion. That's fine. But that's who the Steelers wanted. And I don't know, and nobody will ever know for sure if, Olajuwon Ioane was the number 1 rated player on the Steelers board, and then Makai Lemon was too. They didn't really have a chance at Ioane because they weren't going to trade up 8 spots, let alone a couple. But when we did a YouTube show during the draft on Thursday night at WTOV, and reacting to things as they come along. And after the Jets picked at 16, because I thought maybe that there was a chance that Makai Lemon ended up a Jet because they needed a receiver and then ended up taking a receiver later on in the draft, later on in the first round with Omar Cooper from Indiana. I thought once they got after 16, Detroit wasn't taking a wide receiver at 18 or at 17, and Minnesota wasn't taking a wide receiver at 18. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, weapons in Detroit. Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, weapons in Minnesota. And I thought maybe it was unlikely for Carolina, but I wasn't entirely ruling out Carolina for Makai Lemon either. So, because of that, and hindsight is very much 20/20 at this point, and this is what makes what I wanted them to do even more infuriating. Trading up 3 spots from 21 to 18 with Minnesota would have taken what? One of your thirds? They could have moved up 3 spots and gave Minnesota one of the thirds and maybe one of the fourths. And I would have been totally okay with that to get the guy that they wanted. And it might not have even taken that much, because the guy that Minnesota took 18th overall, Caleb Banks from Florida, was kind of considered a reach. They took the 34th overall prospect, 18th overall. A reach from what I've seen, for the most part. That's been the early returns on Caleb Banks. Which means what? The Steelers could have traded up 3 spots with Minnesota to assure that they got the guy that they wanted. And Minnesota still would have been able to take the guy that they wanted at 21 and get at least a little bit of draft capital doing so. I don't understand why they didn't get aggressive, especially after the Jets picked at 16. But they made up for it. I mean, that's where I do give Omar Khan credit, is that they made up for it by trading up in the second round to get another receiver that they thought highly of in Jeremy Bernard. They did not let it punch them in the mouth so much, to an extent like our last caller suggested, because they did punch back a little bit by trading up in the second to get Jeremy Bernard. So I do give them credit there, but I just don't think it would have taken a whole lot for them to move up a couple of spots in the first round, especially if they really wanted Makai Lemon. Let's go to Luke in Swissvale. Hey, Luke.
Hey, Jack. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. First of all, H2P.
All righty. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so taking IMAX, obviously they fell on their sword right there, and hindsight's always 20/20. I give them a C overall. If we don't know about the whole Makai Lemon, kerfuffle, then we're not making such a big deal out of it. But obviously, you're right. Could have traded up. Second round, good pick. Drew Aller, obviously I'm going to sound biased, but hate the pick. Could have used it on another receiver. Xavier Thomas was there, Jacoby Lane. Taylor Green, Garrett Nussmeier could have gotten them so late. And then Heidenreich, it is what it is. Late round picks, always kind of a crapshoot, but overall, we'll see how that goes. But have a good one, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. I mean, we're going to find out. I mean, this was, I think, the first draft since Omar Khan has become the general manager in which he took a bigger sample size. It was no secret to anybody the size of the stick that Mike Tomlin swung when it came to player personnel decisions. It was a bigger stick than most NFL head coaches in that regard. And that included the NFL draft. Like, make no mistake, the draft room, the war room, was Mike Tomlin's for 19, well, maybe not 19 years, but for at least the better part of his Steelers tenure, and certainly since Omar Khan has been promoted to general manager. Tomlin's not there anymore. Now it's Omar Khan's war room. And time will be the ultimate judge on how this went for Omar Khan. But I did not love the tone that Omar Khan set with the way Philadelphia traded up in that whole debacle. 412-928-9370. Let's go to Jim in Monaca before the break. Hey, Jim.
Good morning, Jack. You're a class act, and as always, I appreciate you taking my call.
Well, thank you.
The thing that aggravates, I'm not unhappy with our first-round selection. I think he's going to be a good player for this team, even if it takes some time to get it out of him. But it was just the pure greenness and the lack of proactive approach from this front office. They're on the phone with a player before their pick is up. Like,
yeah,
what are we doing?
Yeah, that's the thing, Jim. Like them doing that is acting like, oh well, Dallas will definitely not trade out of that spot. Like they called Makai Lemon as if Dallas trading out of that spot wasn't even a possibility. And guess what? It was.
It's pure ignorance to me that they would do something like that. Philadelphia's on the phone with Dallas negotiating the trade while Pittsburgh is sitting back in their recliner, and Omar Khan is on the phone with a player that they don't even have they're not up for a pick yet.
Yep.
So that's frustrating, but overall, if I had to grade this draft, I give it a C+. I think they got a lot of good players, and there was a player that wasn't drafted that I think they need to look at as bringing in as an undrafted player, Desmond Reed from Pitt.
I think he went somewhere, Jim.
Oh, did he?
I believe so. I saw one of the Pitt beat writers. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second. I saw it yesterday very briefly. One of the Pitt beat writers reported the Bills are bringing in Desmond Reed. Yeah, Nathan Breisinger had that yesterday. Okay. Covers the team for yeah, no, but I agree with you. I mean, I would have liked that too, but I mean, you've got Heidenreich in there, and then they drafted Weechin, so I don't know that they would have needed.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
so it'll be interesting to see, Jim. Thanks for the call, man. The phone lines are buzzing. Gypsy, James, Steve, Bobby, Chris, please stay on hold. I got to get to a break, and we'll get to you at the top of the hour because this has been good stuff so far. 412-928-9370. I'm Jack Hillgrove at Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. Fan weather brought to you by Secure Money Advisors. Looking to retire soon? Let Secure Money Advisors get your retirement on track. Sunny but cooler today, a high of 65.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
Sean Myers bringing you fan headlines. The Penguins extended their season with a 4-2 win in Philadelphia against the Flyers on Saturday. Crosby and Raquel, a goal and an assist each. Arthur Shelovs made 28 saves in goal. Game 5 Monday in Pittsburgh at PPG Paints at 7. Headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet. For more, 937thefan.com.
93.7 The Fan is cleared by aquickdrain.com. HD1 Pittsburgh, an Odyssey Sports Station. Live from the Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. Always live and free on the Odyssey app.
93.7 The Fan. A great lawn doesn't happen by accident. It takes the right expertise and the right team. That's why more homeowners trust True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. As the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, True Green knows what it takes to make grass look like a fairway. Their local specialists analyze your lawn, build a plan, and handle the hard work with routine visits throughout the season. And it's all backed by the True Green Satisfaction Guarantee. Visit TrueGreen.com today to get a golf course quality lawn. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
At JeepofPittsburgh.com, it's their Declaration of Deal sales event. Bring us your best offer on any Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram truck, and we will beat it. No games, easy as that. Visit JeepofPittsburgh.com for all the details. We are Pittsburgh Jeep Store.
3, 2, 1. We have liftoff on Daily Rewards Rocket Turbo on DraftKings Casino, the exclusive iGaming provider of Foxwoods. Play $50 on your favorite casino games this week to upgrade next week's rewards. You'll get 4 chances at 10,000 in credits every day, land rewards, and use them to keep the fun going. Head to DraftKings Casino app and start playing to turbocharge your daily rewards. In partnership with DraftKings Casino, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older, physically present in Pennsylvania only. Eligibility restrictions apply. 3 launches per day for rewards. Launches expire each day at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Earn additional launch for following week for completing play requirements. Play requirements vary. Non-withdrawable rewards and amounts vary per launch and are subject to game and expiration limits. Terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Sponsored by DK Crown Holdings Incorporated.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
Text us on the Edgar Snyder and Associates text line at 412-928-9370. Edgar Snyder and Associates reminds you to text responsibly. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, built by Window Nation, home of the buy 2 get 2 free offer.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Mike Rowe here with a random fact. More than half of the homes that have basements in North America will experience water damage. It's true. Whether it's basement moisture, flooding, or bowing walls, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys. They're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Baker's Waterproofing is now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Pony, imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs may change, kids will grow, new memes will come out. But also, what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you actually don't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need them the most. That finds and fixes any issues before you even notice them. It's like a super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from threats online. All with our best equipment with no annual contracts, no fees, and no strings. So even though kids will grow up and you still won't understand 6-7, your internet will stay sharp, reliable, and most importantly, the price will stay put. 5 years, same internet price. Lock in reliable fiber-powered gig Wi-Fi for effortless streaming, plus get the Disney Plus Hulu bundle and Peacock Premium included on us. Xfinity, imagine that. To get started, visit Xfinity.com or drop into an Xfinity store today. Restrictions apply. Peacock Premium included for 3 years. Programming subject to change and availability. Actual speeds vary. Xfinity Internet is powered by fiber and connected to the premises by coaxial cable.
Pittsburgh International Airport's on-site parking provides the most convenient and cost-efficient parking options. The shuttle lot is in close proximity to the new terminal with a less than 10-minute travel time by shuttle, offering the lowest price parking option when you book early at parkatpitt.com. Visit parkatpitt.com to review all parking options and receive special offers. That's parkatpitt.com. South Hills Kia, let's go. The 2026 Kia Seltos LX all-wheel drive, just $249 a month. The all-new 2025 Kia K4 LXS, only $199 a month. Top trade values are happening right now. Don't miss it. 24-month leases, $34.99 due at signing. 10,000 miles per year, plus tax and title. First payment due at signing. Not all qualify. No security deposit required. Offers end May 4th, 2026. South Hills Kia. Deals like this don't last. Visit southhillskia.net for more details.
Remember your first football game? The sound of the crowd, the smell of the grill, the moment you fell in love with the sport. Now it's your turn to pass on that moment at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. Families walk through the greatest moments in football history and create new memories of their own. From legendary artifacts to stories that span generations, it's an experience every family should share. The hall is located less than 2 hours from Pittsburgh, so make the short drive to greatness. Plan your visit at ProFootballHof.com.
Your hometown building partner since 1956, 84 Lumber. Visit 84lumber.com.
Free trial of 7 days. If customer does not cancel prior to the end of a trial period, fees will apply.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi North Hills Spring Sales Drive is on, and the year's best deals on new Outlanders are here. The 2026 Mitsubishi Outlander features a premium interior, advanced safety, and affordable third-row seating. Drive yours home today for 2.99% APR for 60 months. Plus, take advantage of our Spring Sales Drive bonus box and get up to $750 more for your trade.
Your deal.
Your way.
What a great day.
At Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi in the North Hills. Call 412-453-8035 for offer details.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra vutrisiran is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
This is Sean Myers with your fan headlines. The Pirates prevailed in 10 innings, 6-3 on Saturday in Milwaukee against the Brewers. Nick Gonzalez went 3 for 5. Mitch Keller, a strong outing on the bump. Pirates, Brewers today at 2:10. Coverage on 93.7 The Fan begins at 12:30, and that's presented by Keystone Custom Apparel. Headlines are powered by Bowser Chevrolet. For more, 937thefan.com.
Live and local, even on the weekends. Let's go! Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, Pittsburgh's hometown sports station.
Carmen Mlodzinski against, I had the talk to you button was still pressed and I couldn't hear myself.
That's a why. Joe Starkey thing.
Yeah. Well, it does that from time to time. That's why you got to be a little. But I didn't go, Sean, what's going on? I'm scared.
Holy bird milk.
This is unbelievable, Sean.
I think he hit us with a holy squirrel follicles maybe this week, I think I heard.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm surprised. That's my guy, though. I love Joe Starkey to death. Just one of one.
That's probably a good thing, but yes, that's very accurate.
Carmen Mlodzinski against Kyle Harrison today. Sunday same game parlay coming up at 10 o'clock. Full phone lines, which is awesome as we continue to react to the Steelers draft at 412-928-9370. On the whole, I'm D+, C- on the draft class of 2026. What say you? Let's start with Gypsy, who's in the car. Hey, Gypsy.
My man, good morning.
Good morning, man. Thanks for staying patient.
I feel bad for you. You know, I want to know these callers that are calling your show. Are they going to the psychiatrist's office before they call your show? Because, you know what? I guess because I'm 68 years old and I've seen the best players play here. You know, you bleed black and gold. It's crazy. You got, Paul, it must have been the guy that called the show, was complaining about O'Neal Cruz watching the pigeons out in center field too much. You know, and then Greg from Youngstown calls they call every day. You know what? You got to live with it. You got to live with it. My question is to you, Jack, is why does everybody want to run everybody out of time? When they signed McCarthy, they wanted to run him out of time. Now this kid, the first round draft pick, you know, everybody's criticizing him already. They haven't seen him play at Arizona State. They haven't seen him play at Don. You know, you're a true user. You bleed black and gold.
Thanks for the call. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you, Gypsy. And as far as Greg in Youngstown goes, he and I had a heated exchange close to about a year ago. And I haven't heard from Greg. I've heard Greg call into other shows.
Calls in all the time.
I know. I think he just says to hell with Jack Hillgrove. I'm done. Greg, if you're listening to me on an off chance on a Sunday morning, let's reconcile, my man. I appreciate your passion. But as far as Gypsy's call there goes, Maxi Honachor, I think, is going to be a really good pro one day. But it doesn't, if the Steelers would commit themselves, I said this before, I'll say it again, if they would commit themselves to focusing on 2026 to build for the future, Maxi Honachor would be a great pick because he's only scratching the surface of what he can accomplish as a pro. He only started playing football a half decade ago and already elevated himself to first-round pick status and to a first-round pick period. But they're still relying on Aaron Rodgers and hoping that he comes back. And they drafted a tackle in the first round that doesn't really fit into the right away. Or if he does, then you've got to move somebody else over to the left side. If the Steelers would focus 2026 on developing Ihanichor and figuring out if they have a quarterback in either Drew Aller or Will Howard, I'm fine with it. But they've been on the record on multiple occasions that is not the case. Let's go to Steve in Ligonier. What's up, Steve?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. This whole draft seemed just to be a dud this year. The most exciting thing was listening to you guys talk about how it was in Pittsburgh, how they were going to be willing and dealing to make their picks. And it was a dud, especially that first-round pick. When I listened to you guys, because I don't know the guy, but it's a guy we kind of just don't need, and he ain't ready even to play. They should have probably tried to trade that off, because it was just a wasted first-round pick, the way I look at it. Traded it off for
Steve, I don't think it's
to get in the top 10 pick next year.
Steve, I don't think it's a waste. I just think it doesn't fit their mold right now. You know, if Maxi Ihanichor eventually becomes an every down quality starting tackle, then that's worth a first-round pick. But you've got to develop him to get to that point. And then that also comes with either moving him to a position he's got to learn in left tackle at the big level or moving Troy Fautanu over to that side. Let's go to Bobby in McKeesport. Hey, Bobby.
Yes, how you fellas doing? I just want to say I give our draft a B+ because I'm gonna look at it as this: we have drafted the players that we exactly needed, and the Steelers are great for turning no-name players into big-time name players. So right now, Steelers Nation need to calm down. The draft is going to be great. We needed linemen. We grabbed 2 linemen, and we grabbed a nice wide receiver. So our job is to build a team first. So no matter what quarterback we get, we can plug a quarterback in. That's why I like the Drew Allen pick. Until we.
I mean, Bobby, they can't. And I'm quick with these guys because I want to get to as many people as possible. That you can't plug a quarterback in. That is not how success in the NFL works. You've got to draft and identify your franchise quarterback, and then you build your team.
Well, if you look at Seattle, that's kind of evidence that maybe you can get by at least with the average starting quarterback in the NFL.
Who, Geno?
No, Sam Darnold.
Well, he's not average, and Sam Darnold is an anomaly.
Well, I agree with that part, but I think that is most recent evidence of you don't have to have the Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes to win it all.
But you have to have somebody that's not 43 years old and past his prime.
Oh, I don't want Rodgers at all, but I don't know that you need to have a quarterback that is elite to ultimately get over the hump if you do have everything else addressed, like the defense, like the running game, all those other aspects. For years and years, I thought if you don't have a top 5 quarterback, you don't have a chance. I think we're starting to see examples of maybe Jalen Hurts, Sam Darnold trending that you just need probably slightly above average starting NFL quarterback.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, like at the end of the day, when you get down to the conference championships and the Super Bowl, you're going to be playing against really good teams. And if you're a really good team against a really good team, you might be in a situation where if you have the ball last, you need that guy to lead you down the field and win games. And that's where it matters. Like, I understand that Jalen Hurts might not be a top 10 quarterback and he won a Super Bowl with a really good supporting cast, but like, Ben was a top 5 quarterback consistently in the NFL. When they won their 2 Super Bowls and at least contended.
I think there was maybe almost 2 straight decades where you had to have a Brady, a Manning, a Big Ben.
But like, look at some of the other guys though, Sean. I mean, who's been in the hunt the last couple of years that didn't quite get to the big game? Denver with Bo Nix, who's on the outside looking in. Caleb Williams in Chicago on the outside looking in at that top 5 or top 10. I still think you've got to have elite or borderline elite quarterback play to be a true contender in the NFL. Let's go to Chris in Uniontown. Hey, Chris.
How you doing? I look at this draft a little differently than everybody, I think. because I think they're not trying to get them combative players no more. Tomlin didn't mind taking a bad seed here and there. McCarthy's a little different, and plus Omar Khan. They want guys that ain't going to be off the field acting, doing stuff and talking back, and they're trying to change the locker room. But the guys they drafted, they're not them old type of players. They drafted guys with a little bit of character, a good character, I guess. I don't really know him. But what I've seen is a little bit better player that they ain't going to be argumentative with the coaches and doing crazy stuff.
I don't know if there's any way to forecast that right now, Chris. Thanks for the call, but I guess on paper, it certainly looks that way. We'll just have to wait and see. Above all else, though, I want a guy and guys in here that just help this team win. And time will be the true teller in that fact. But again, my problem with this draft class is I just don't know that the players that they selected fit with the narrative that's continued to be poured out by the ownership and by the front office that they think that they can contend and win now. Because you're not going to contend and win now in 2026 with Maxi Honachor. You're not going to contend and win now with Drew Aller as your starting quarterback or Will Howard as your starting quarterback. These are developmental pieces. And if the Steelers would commit to development, I'd feel a lot different about this draft. Frank and Chippewa is on the Fan. Hey, Frank.
Hey, how you doing, guy?
Good,
man. Real quick, you see the Ravens every year in the Eagles. They always get one or two impact players in the first round. They always seem to move up and do that. I give the Steelers draft like a D+. After the debacle at Lemon, I thought they should have traded down because this Carnahor guy, I thought that they said he was a second-round pick.
I saw him in like the late 20s or 30s. So like if they would have traded down to what do you have in mind, Frank? Like 25, 6, 7, somewhere in that range. Yeah. They probably would have been able to nab him there. But as far as, adapting after the Lemon debacle, I thought they did a good job of it in the second round by trading up to get the receiver. They said enough is enough. We need a receiver. Let's move up and ensure that we get a guy that we like on our board in Jeremy Bernard. And they did that. But yeah, in theory, I agree with you. I feel like if they would have been able to move down and maybe grab an additional... And I think part of the reason, Frank, why they didn't move down is because, if they move down from 21 to 25 or 6, what do you get? An extra third? And they already had 3 of them. So, yeah,
but you could have got it for next year, too. You could have got a third for next year.
Could have. And then that time, and I'm no NFL GM, Frank, but, you only have a finite amount of time, i.e. the clock, to figure out what you want to do. I mean, I would have to imagine... And if I ever get the opportunity to interview Omar Khan one-on-one or an NFL GM one-on-one, I see Doug Whaley every now and again. And the next time I see Doug, I'm going to ask him, how high stakes and high pressure is it trying to field offers and evaluate the best one while you're on the clock because you might get multiple and then you have to collectively decide or yourself decide, okay, this is the trade package we're going with. These are the picks we want in return or are okay giving up with moving up. The high stakes situation. Something I'd be curious to know from the mind of a general manager, truly how high stakes and high pressure of a situation is that moving up and down and trading picks in a draft. Let's go to Sean, who's on the Fan. Hey, Sean.
Hey, how's it going, Jack? I personally think the Eagles saved us from ourselves by taking Lemon. I think that the left tackle was a much bigger need than a slot wide receiver. I really like Big Max, and I'll tell you what, not giving up a sack at Division I level, I don't care about the schedule, who you play. That's impressive. To never give up one. Now, I understand what you're saying about being raw. He may need a year or two. Maybe. We'll see. But there's also, you never know. That's the great thing about the draft. You never know. You see guys every year that come out of left field that were like 5th, 6th round picks like Puka Nacua. They end up being awesome. I mean, it's, he may be great, but where I'm going with this is why I think they helped us is that I really love Bernard for the West Coast offense. He's somebody that can play inside or outside, whereas Lemon was strictly a slot guy. I feel like I feel like the universe kind of just took us over and said, you know what, we got this, and just save the Steelers from themselves. I love the Dunker pick. I don't know, man. I'm more optimistic than most people about this class. I have a really good feeling. I love these guys. I do.
Well, I appreciate the optimism, Sean, and maybe Mekhi Lemon going to Philly is a better fit for him because they're going to trade A.J. Brown. And their top 2 receivers week 1, I would have to imagine, on both sides, outside, are going to be Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon. A.J. Brown's probably going to be a Patriot at the start of next season. So maybe it's a better fit for Mekhi Lemon to be and to have a bigger role somewhere else. And maybe he's not going to, amount to anything like I've seen people suggest. And that's fine. But the problem with the Mekhi Lemon situation isn't that they didn't pick him. It's that how they approached it. And that's the biggest issue I have with it. But the caveat to that is I think they responded well in the Jeremy Bernard pick by trading up in the 2nd round. Let's go to James. Hey, James.
Hey, how you doing? Love the show.
Thank you.
No, I do like the 1st round pick. Personally, I don't feel it was a reach. I do like the receiver out of Alabama. Now, the reason why I like the 1st round pick over Lemon, I kind of feel Lemon would have character issues, just kind of the vibe I got.
Sure.
But also, I do like the late round picks with defensive tackle and also the other one out of Iowa. We always hear about building the trenches, and with the unknown certainty of Broderick Jones, why wait around? Because, they're going to pick up players now, and they're all going to be projects. So why not go with somebody who has high upside and watching his tape? The guy's a dog. So, I have to give this draft a B+.
Appreciate it, James. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Late round trying to develop the defensive line, but Gabe Rubio was like the 650th consensus best prospect. And I had mentioned earlier, I work with and have a couple of buddies that are diehard Notre Dame fans that knew nothing about him. Is it low-hanging fruit or unfair to really criticize the 210th overall pick? Yeah, maybe. But it seemed like that they would have been able to get that guy as an undrafted free agent. So I don't really get that pick. But, as far as adding depth to the offensive and defensive lines, they did that at the bare minimum in this draft. And above all else, they filled needs. They drafted for need in this draft and found a wide receiver 3 and found a tackle that they're high on and got a quarterback to fill out that room at the start of training camp. So, yeah, they filled for need. It's just, again, they drafted as if they are more on the rebuilding mindset sort of things. And this front office has reiterated time and time again that that's not the goal. A couple of more before the break. Let's go to Mark before Sean. Hey, Mark and Carrick, how are you?
Hey, Jack, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
I want to tell you why this was a great draft.
Okay.
Well, because it signals the official start of the rebuild. I know everybody hates the R word, but let's call it what it is.
Does it though, Mark? I'm not gonna buy that until they tell Aaron Rodgers to take a hike, or I just don't get the vibe that's what this signals, because leading up to the hiring of Mike McCarthy, it was, I would never understand why you would waste a year and not try and win the whole thing. Art Rooney said that in the press conference after Mike Tomlin called it quits. This front office, year in and year out, is committed to winning a Super Bowl and making the playoffs, even though the roster and not having a franchise quarterback just completely goes against that that narrative and that way of operating. So yeah, on paper it might, Mark, but until they commit to a combination of Drew Aller and Will Howard and seeing what they have for the future and focus on developing Maxi Honachor into being an NFL caliber starting tackle, I don't know that that's the case.
I respectfully disagree. And I think the uncomfortable truth is they also got caught in a situation having to take a tackle with more of a priority than they thought. Because all reports is that Broderick Jones had a cervical fusion. So they might not have known how high of a priority that was going to be. So they had to go with the best available option there, unfortunately. So that's probably why they went with Honachor in that situation. And the pick of Aller, that's going to be fun. That's going to give you a lot of content. But had they went with anyone else outside of Aller, I believe we'd still have a case that it wasn't full rebuild mode or they wasn't looking for a successor. But at this point, if anyone thinks Rodgers coming back, they can't see the forest or the ayahuasca talking trees. But like I said, they did fill a lot of needs.
So that's why you think the rebuild is on, Mark. You think there's no chance that Rodgers comes back?
Zero. Okay. I think that's not necessarily the main reason why, but the picks they made are conducive to looking a couple years down the road. Like you said, projects filled with needs. So in a couple years, when they have all their guys off the boards with high cap hits, and they've essentially they're not drafting in the bottom third of the draft like they have been perennially, and they have a chance at those franchise-changing talents, they'll be ready to do so. So I think a lot of dominoes fell the right way. But great show as always, and good talking to you.
Yeah, you too, man. I hope you're right. I hope Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, but I think he is. And I don't think he's here yet, and I don't think it's any surprise that he's not here yet because of how he's wired, number one. Number two, I don't think he's too concerned about not being here and getting familiar with the system because he's familiar, obviously, to say the least, with Mike McCarthy. And number three, he's been very outspoken that he thinks that the whole offseason way that the NFL does things with OTAs and all that stuff is kind of dumb. So, like, you look at last year, and obviously he was on the record, Aaron Rodgers was saying that there were some things going on in his personal life and people in his circle that were dealing with some things and he needed to help, and that's fine, and I respect that. But I also think it took him until June to commit to the Steelers because he didn't want to go through OTAs. And probably doesn't want to go through mandatory minicamp. He was unexcused, an unexcused absence a couple of years ago in New York with the whole ayahuasca retreat. He does not think that it is beneficial. So if Aaron Rodgers does come back, and I think he will, not happy about it, but you're not going to see him for at least a month. Like OTAs start that last week of May. It's different this year. They have a couple of OTAs and then mandatory minicamp and then more OTAs after mandatory minicamp. You're not going to see Aaron Rodgers until mandatory minicamp June 8th, I believe is when it starts. One more before the break in Nick Faribault. Let's go to Sean in Imperial. What's up, brother?
Hey, Jack. Good morning. Appreciate you taking the call. I'm excited about the draft. I love that they invested in the offensive line with Big IMAX and Dunker. I think they'll fit in and develop and contribute, I think, quickly. But one player I really wanted to focus on, and I'm going to make a little prediction, and then I'll hang up and listen. But Jeremy Bernard out of Alabama, right? So we trade up to get him, which tells you we really wanted him and we like him. I think he's going to lead the Steelers in touchdown scores this year. He reminds me a ton of Deebo Samuel. We're going to get a ton of usage out of him. Really love the Jeremy Bernard pick.
Yeah, size and everything you heard about him, Sean. Thanks for the call, brother. Absolutely. Position flexibility is something that if it was Brian Angelico after the pick, after the Bernard pick, Pat Graham talked about position flexibility after they selected Dalen Everett, the cornerback out of Georgia. Even with Jennings Dunker, who played tackle and is going to play guard, like position flexibility was a buzzword with the coaches that spoke to us after these draft picks this weekend. And position flexibility with Jeremy Bernard is something that has me excited. And all you got to do is turn the tape on at Alabama and watch him A, get better as last season went on and as his college career went on, and B, a bunch of stuff that he did in that offense with Kalen DeBoer. And the one thing that I liked about Bernard is that he started at Michigan State and then had the transfer, didn't fit at Michigan State, winds up with Kalen DeBoer at Washington, contributes on a team that almost won a national championship, and then notices, okay, I think Kalen DeBoer can get me where I need to go. DeBoer takes the Alabama job. He goes with them and grows with Kalen DeBoer. Mike McCarthy knows a thing or two about the West Coast offense and offense, period, and scheming guys open. This is going to be a fit that I think Steelers fans are going to like for all the reasons Sean and Imperial brought up. The Deebo Samuel comp and a bunch of different things that he can do. And the continuity he had with Kalen DeBoer and the growth that he had in that system, I think translates incredibly well to Mike McCarthy's system, and especially with the role that he'll have right away, which is not a whole lot because the Steelers finally have a couple of threats higher than him on the depth chart with DK and Michael Pittman. He's going to settle in right away nicely, carve out a nice small role nicely, and then that will expand as 2026 rolls along. Fan Twitter brought to you by South Hills Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Route 19 Peters Township. We're over on time. We got to get to a break, and Nick Faribault will join us on the video stream coming up in a couple of minutes. It's a Sunday morning. I'm Jack Hillgrove.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
This is Sean Myers with your fan headlines. The Penguins prevailed last night in Philadelphia to keep their season alive at 4-2 victory against the Flyers. Sidney Crosby and Rickard Rakell each scored a goal and dished out an assist. Game 5 Monday in Pittsburgh at 7. Fan headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet. For more, 937thefan.com.
Recently, our company's softball team lost a big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win, like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Homeowners, if your home needs a new roof, call a Platinum Preferred Roofing Contractor. Owens Corning only selects the best 1% of all its dealers, and JP Roofing and Signing has earned that honor. They've accomplished this through hard work and customer satisfaction and offer the best warranty in the business. Homeowners receive $500 off any roof or siding installation. Ask about 100% financing, no payments for 18 months, and free estimates. All that, JP Roofing and Siding. Give them a call at 412-829-7711. That's 829-7711.
I suffered with plantar fasciitis for almost 20 years. I would try drugstore insoles and supports.
If you suffer with plantar fasciitis, we know the search for pain relief can feel like a hopeless ordeal.
I thought foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I've been through surgeries, foot injections.
At the Good Feet store, we hear stories every day of all kinds of cheap inserts, expensive shoes, and other failed remedies people have tried that just didn't work.
I was trying all different things. Not a single one worked. And then I was driving past the Good Feet store, and I thought, why not? Give it a try. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support for my feet. Then it was like, okay, this is different. These make a difference.
Don't lose hope. Give the Good Feet store a try.
I'm so glad I met Good Feet. It changed my life.
Now open in the waterfront across from Yankee Candle next to Panera, or visit us in Robinson Town Center in Cranberry Township or in Morgantown at Suncrest Town Center.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441.
800-939-1441.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
Getting around town's better in a new vehicle from Spitzer. Our triple play sales event makes it easy. Hurry into Spitzer Toyota today and lease a new 2026 Toyota Tacoma SR Double Cab from $419 per month with zero due at signing. Plus, get our lifetime warranty, complimentary maintenance, and Spitzer VIP points.
Whack more. Spend less at Spitzer Toyota Monroeville.
At Spitzer, our world revolves around you.
Select models TSRP 35599, VIN TT044098, RWD model 7186, 36 months approved credit through TMS plus title tax license registration 490.fee $0 security deposit, 10K miles per year, ends 4/30/2026.
Remember your first football game? The sound of the crowd, the smell of the grill, the moment you fell in love with the sport. Now it's your turn to pass on that moment at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. Families walk through the greatest moments in football history and create new memories of their own. From legendary artifacts to stories that span generations, it's an experience every family should share. The hall is located less than 2 hours from Pittsburgh, so make the short drive to greatness. Plan your visit at ProFootballHof.com.
Thorne Dickerson here. Looking for an easy way to raise money for your youth sports team or organization this season? Keystone Custom Apparel has a brand new fan club fundraiser designed specifically for sports teams. Each player receives a custom shirt featuring the names of their supporters on the back. Supporters simply donate $20 per name, enter their name online, select their favorite player, and check out. No collecting money from parents, no complicated order forms, no headaches. Most teams raise $2,000 to $5,000 with this program. Visit KeystoneCustomApparel.com or give them a call, 724-206-0285 to get started today.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-581-1414. That's 800-581-1414. 800-581-1414.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My best advice to you when hiring a lawyer for your injury case is simple. If you know court personnel, ask them who they'd hire. They know. If you know an insurance adjuster, ask them. They know. And then ask them about us. Ask them about Morgan & Morgan. They know. I look forward to talking to you soon. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, for the people. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Live from the ShoreKeyMitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. 93.7 The Fan is cleared by aquickdrain.com.
Fan text line presented by Edgar Snyder and Associates, personal injury law firm. They always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. We're continuing the draft discussion with PennLive.com's Nick Farabaugh, who joins us on the Fan video stream. If you're watching us on YouTube or online, you can see him there. Nick, good morning to you, brother. Appreciate you being a part of the journey with us this morning. I'll ask you flat out right away, your favorite draft pick of the Steelers' 2026 draft class is?
I think it's Jeremy Bernard. That's where I think it is. I mean, I think I really like both of their seventh runners. I really like Riley Nowakowski, and I think they got very good value on Jennings Dunker. So I think that there's some really solid picks here. But Bernard is just the perfect fit for their offense. I mean, you talk about busybody guy. He does the dirty work. He catches everything over the middle of the field. He's able to defeat press. He can play inside out. He plays really well through traffic. And the best thing about Bernard, and I thought this was a really good kind of point by Brown Angelico when he talked with us, was when Alabama needed someone to make a play, they went to him. And he made those plays. And he kind of bailed out Ty Simpson a lot on tape when you watched it. He's not going to be a star wide receiver one. He's not going to be the next Antonio Brown or anything like that. He's not going to be your next superstar. But this is the type of guy that stays in the league for 12 to 10 years and is just a solid football player. He's in those Robert Woods mold of players. Like, that's what he is. He is going to be the type of guy that's going to be a fan favorite. It's going to make timely plays when you need him to and be an excellent glue player. So really, really like the pick of Bernard. He adds another dimension of this offense that they do not have because he's so great after the catch. You can put him in the backfield. You can put him in the slot. You can get him manufactured touches. He catches the ball really well and immediately gets upfield. He can slip through tackles. They do not have a yak producer before they had Bernard on the roster, so that will complement Pittman and Metcalf very well. I just think it's a really good fit with what they have and what they needed, and they have their third wide receiver here now as a starter.
How beneficial is it to him, too, Nick, that, like, now finally for the first time in a couple of years, like, the Steelers have some – legitimate players at the top of the depth chart, 1 and 2 with Pittman and Metcalf, and now a rookie receiver, comes into the fold, and he's not relied upon right away to be, a bigger role in the offense. Because, like I said, now finally the Steelers have 2, pretty darn good threats at the position. To me, it screams he can come in right away, carve out a decently small role for himself and then expand upon it from there. It just doesn't seem like, because what's ahead of him now, there's a whole lot of pressure on Bernard to make a huge impact right away.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, he is going to be the starting third wide receiver, the slot receiver probably in their 11 personnel. So it is going to be a significant amount of snaps just off that alone. But I do think the role for him is going to be a lot of kind of dirty work, right? It's going to be blocking. It's going to be condensed sets, even running maybe some picks and things like that, or just being the guy that is kind of catching the ball on screens and trying to turn that into a really solid gain to make sure you're staying on schedule. Like, all those things are going to be his role, and he can expand upon that. He's just a really solid player, and he's not going to be someone that I think is going to take a ton of adjusting to the NFL. I think he's going to be someone that's going to pretty much hit the ground running really, really well. So to me, just an easy pick to kind of project before the draft, but that's because it made a heck of a lot of sense. You look at his frame, 6'1", 206, and there's a lot of guys that are kind of in there. I talked about Robert Woods, like that's in there. He's kind of built like a Emeka Egbuka in some ways. He plays bigger, I think. You look at him, he probably plays up near like 210, 211, so he's a big guy, and it shows up on film, and I think that's a really good thing.
Nick Farabaugh, PennLive.com, with us talking about the Steelers draft class. Maxi Honachor, how does he fit in right away, and how do you forecast the Steelers' offensive line shaking out now with Honachor being the first-round pick? Does he try to be the left tackle right away? Do they move Troy Fautanu over there? How do you see it shaking out as the OTAs and minicamp and training camp roll around?
I think they move, personally, I think they move Troy Fautanu over if Honachor is going to be the starting right tackle. Now, I don't think it's a guarantee Honachor starts day one. I do think he is a guy that has a ton of upside, and you want to bet on that upside because literally every single year he has played football, he has gotten better. That is the one thing that is evident from his 2024 to 2025 tape is he got much better. Just from a technique standpoint and from a processing standpoint, just identifying stunts and the such. There's a lot he still has to learn, though. And I think that means maybe you don't start him right away. Maybe you don't throw him into the fire. Now, if he's good enough, cool. And I think that's where Fautanu, the left tackle, comes in. But I'm not going to discredit Dylan Cook or Broderick Jones. Listen, I talked with Donnie about this, and I think the one thing that could really take a wrecking ball to this whole thing is what if Dylan Cook is real? Like, what if he is that good and you continue to see the continuation of what we saw at the end of last year? If he's one of your best 5 linemen, you got to get him on the football field. So he could start at left tackle, and then you can still have Fautanu at right. I guess the kind of scenario where the Steelers end up in maybe a little bit of a fuzzy situation is if Honachor looks ready to go, Cook or Jones has a really good camp, and you maybe have to start flirting with the idea of putting Fautanu in at left guard. I guess that would be something that could happen. Mike McCarthy didn't shut down that idea completely. I don't think that's their plan A, though. And so my guess is they're keeping Honachor on the right side, making sure he's as comfortable as possible. Fautanu's played right and left tackle, so I think you can make sure that he does that. He's a guy that has shown the ability to flip sides. And who knows what we get in wild cards of Broderick Jones. When's he going to be ready with the neck injury? And then Dylan Cook, who really had a good end of the year last year and could potentially prove to be real. And if he is, you have to play him.
So if Honachor isn't ready to go week one, and is kind of married to that right side for the time being. When does the move for Fautanu over to the left side happen? Like if week 1, Ihanichor is not the starting right tackle, is it Fautanu on the right side and then Cook? And then when Ihanichor's ready, is that when you move Fautanu over to the left side? Because I just kind of see a little bit of a conundrum with the tackles now. And then like if the plan is for Ihanichor to be the right tackle, do you move Fautanu over when that happens, or do you move him over, at the start of the season, and then can Cook play right tackle? It just seems like a lot of moving parts based off of one guy that they draft in the first round.
It is a lot of moving parts. And I mean, listen, I think they expected to take a tackle, but maybe not a tackle this early. And it just happened with Makai Lemon, that Makai Lemon situation, and he was the next on their board. So they got a player that I think has tons of upside. Now, the one thing about him is he's a little raw. So you don't have to play him right away. But my guess is, you're going to do what you did with Broderick Jones 2 years ago when he kind of was in the second year, which was Fautanu's going to split time between left and right. And Fautanu, I think, is going to be one of those guys that's maybe wired a little differently than Dan Moore and Broderick Jones, where those two guys struggled to flip sides. Fautanu has shown that he can pretty seamlessly go from right to left. He played left tackle at Washington, was excellent there, and then all of a sudden he comes to the NFL and he's an excellent right tackle. So it's pretty much in stone, I think, that that he can flip sides pretty well, which I think is a really good luxury to have. It's not like we're talking about, is Fautanu not going to be good anymore if he flips to the left side? I think that's pretty much, we know he will be. And so that's nice to have. I mean, Cook can play both spots before, he got thrown in at left tackle. He was on the roster as the swing tackle, so we know he can do that. He can also play both guard spots. I think that's an interesting thing. He plays 4 out of the 5 positions. So, I guess there's the idea of, I hadn't thought of this, but what if, Cook is very good? Do you throw him in a guard? I don't know. That doesn't make much sense to me, but I guess it could happen. But, he can play there. And then Jones, we know he has swing tackle ability. He's played both sides now at this point in his career. So all 4 of these guys can play either side. But I would prioritize the young rookie and making him as comfortable as possible, which would thus be keeping him on the right side where he has played the last 2 years at a very high level. I do think there's this idea that he is just cookie cutter raw and you can never play Max Ihanichor, but watch the tape against David Bailey, the 2nd overall pick. Watch the tape against Malachi Lawrence, the 23rd overall pick. He won those matchups. He played well. There's a lot to like about Ihanichor, and I'm not ruling out him just being good enough to be the week 1 starter, but we'll see if that happens.
Steelers beat writer Nick Farabaugh for PennLive.com with us this morning. Nick, let's talk about Drew Aller, what you thought of the pick when it happened. And it doesn't seem like that this affects or changes whether or not Aaron Rodgers comes back to the Steelers or not, at least from the Steelers' point of view. And if Aaron Rodgers does come back, does that make Mason Rudolph the odd man out now with Will Howard and Drew Aller in that quarterback's room this season?
Yeah, I think it does, right? I think at the kind of outset of this, when you draft a guy at 76th overall, you kind of understand where the Steelers are coming from with Drew Aller. He's kind of guaranteed a roster spot because this is a ceiling-chasing pick, and everyone knows Drew Aller's not ready to play right now. He is not ready to go out on a football field and be an NFL starting quarterback. He needs a year or two to at least marinate before we even get to a discussion of could he be that. Honestly, he still needs a year to even talk about honestly being a backup, to be quite honest with you. He's a little ways away from that. So really, he's going to be your emergency third quarterback probably most of the year. So I'm just assuming you're going to have a backup battle then between Rudolph and Howard. And listen, I guess if Will Howard just does not play well, he is a 6th-round pick. There's like a scenario out there, I suppose they have to move on from him because Mason's really good and Howard's not. But from what I've seen from Will Howard, I don't think that's going to happen. So there's that thing. 2, Rudolph, when he did play last year, he wasn't very good. And I think, that Chicago game was really rough, Jack. I think we all watched that game and thought, man, if Rodgers had played that game, they'd probably win. And it was really tough to watch some of Mason Rudolph's throws in that game. So while he's fine, I do think you have upside in both Howard and Aller, and that's probably where you end up seeing that. Now, as for the Aller pick, I kind of have taken this stance. I understand why they did it. I don't like it. I didn't personally value Aller as a 3rd-round quarterback, but it's a physical tools thing. I do think, though, Jack, we're in a little bit of an outdated process when thinking about Aller, because I think everyone thinks about the old school stuff, right? Big arm, prototypical size, big hands, all of this stuff. But kind of what has been revealed over the past, 10 or so years is big arm, prototypical size. That's not necessarily what always makes franchise quarterbacks. It feels like a little bit of an outdated thinking. Well, what's the physical tools? Well, the physical tools don't always dictate what becomes franchise quarterback material. I mean, look at a guy like Brock Purdy. Look at a guy, really coming out of school. I mean, Dak Prescott had a lot of questions about what he would be. And so, Prescott does have prototypical size and arm strength and the big hands. So there is that, but you kind of molded him around, I think, his mental game, which was great coming out of Mississippi State, which was why he was able to step in and be so good right away. But I do think, there's a little bit of an outdated thinking personally from my view that big arm, prototypical size means toolsy, high ceiling. But I do think that Aller is a guy that has the right mental makeup. And he has some very intriguing throws on tape where he can make any throw in the book. So they got to get him better footwork-wise, reading defenses, and the pocket management side. So there's a lot of work, but let's see if they can do something, because I do think there is upside with Drew Aller.
Did they make any picks that you would classify as bad picks this weekend, Nick?
I mean, listen, I think the Aller pick is something I don't love. I did not love Dalen Everett following up on that. There were, personally, to me, players I would have rather taken a chance on than him. He's just very inconsistent. He's all over the place. Former 5-star, though, so the Steelers love the pedigree. The athleticism is all there, and he does have good ball production. So there's a few things there, but some of the tape he put up against top wide receivers in the SEC. I mean, Deshaun Stribling, who went to the 49ers at 33 overall, absolutely dominated that matchup. Chris Brazzell, he and Everett kind of went back and forth in that matchup. But Everett did step up in big games. But I do think the technique's very much a work in progress. I think at some points he can be a little bit undisciplined in how he plays. He's a very smart player, but sometimes he gets too antsy and just holds for no reason. The technique and press can really get out there, and he can get smoked off the line of scrimmage, and you see it a lot on tape. So it's a bit of a projection there. They took two guys there where it is all projection, man. Like, they're not ready to play. So you got to make sure you develop them. They're trusting their coaches, and they'll see if they can get something out of them. On day 3, I mean, I don't know enough about Gabriel Rubio to say if he's a bad pick or not. I just didn't know him. I think everyone's saying that's a bad pick because no one knew who he was. I'll tell you more about him when I figure that out. Outside of the usual stuff, big kid, great length, plays nose through 4 eyes. So classic Steelers pick. I mean, the process I don't think Weegen is a bad player or a bad pick, because I like Caden Weegen. I think he is a phenomenal returner. But I do question, do you take a returner in the 4th round? I question. I don't know if I'd say they made a just absolutely atrocious pick that I can't defend, period. But what I will say is I do think that they made some questionable value picks. And I think, you look at Weegen, I think you look at Aller, you look at Everett, and those 3 picks stand out to me as like, what happened? And what's the idea here? And so I do wonder if that is kind of factoring into this.
Were you shocked they didn't take a punter?
No, they haven't even signed one yet. I don't know. It'd be weird for them to not go into training camp with another punter. I would say that. So I'm not surprised they didn't draft one, but I am surprised they haven't signed one. I mean, they signed a kicker already, so I don't think anyone's pushing Chris Boswell off the roster. But I do think it's interesting that they do not have another punter, and I figure that has to come at some point because, look at Cam Johnson's numbers last year. I mean, they weren't great in a short sample size, so I'm not sure he should be guaranteed to be the starting punter this year, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Nick Farabaugh, PennLive.com. Nick, I'll leave you with this. Obviously, Eli Heidenreich captured the hearts at the end of the draft, not just from Pittsburgh people, but all over. Everybody thought it was an unbelievable story. At the end of the day, though, he comes from an academy, and he comes in the 7th round. What's the likelihood that he makes the team and makes the 53-man roster, and what's the easiest avenue for the Mount Lebanon product to find himself on the Steelers roster at the start of the season?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how they view him. Do they view him as a running back? Do they view him more as a wide receiver? I believe that Mike McCarthy mentioned the name Randall Cobb when it came up. So I'm guessing the slot receiver part of this is going to be something. And so, I mean, the obvious first avenue is be a phenomenal four-phase special teamer. At the running back room, I mean, that's Travis Homer. He's a returner. He's a four-phase special teamer. He's a pass protector. He's a receiver. I think that's going to kind of be interesting. The question is, do they keep 3 or 4 backs? If they keep 4 backs, I think Heidenreich has a real shot to make this roster. I thought this was a great value pick. This might be their second best value pick of the entire class behind Dunker, who is just a really good value pick overall at 96. And so you look at Heidenreich, and he's a guy that runs really crisp routes for a guy that is supposedly in the backfield. He's very elusive in space. There's a lot to buy into with his tape. And so, honestly, from the player I saw on tape, I think he has a real shot to make the roster. I understand there's a lot of lanes clogged up in that running back room just because you have the third-round pick invested in Caleb Johnson from last year. You have Travis Homer, who's a really solid vet that has just been there, done that. He's going to give you very high ceiling depth, very high floor depth. But Heidenreich's like this ceiling-chasing pick, and to me, you have a spot on the roster for him to be a very good special teamer and be a guy that can kind of mold between running back and wide receiver. So, yeah, I think he has a real shot to make this team. We'll see how he looks in training camp, but I think the idea that he makes this roster is absolutely not far-fetched.
Nick Farabaugh covers the team for PennLive.com. Nick, obviously, next up, rookie minicamp and then the offseason program. What went into... under Mike Tomlin, it was OTAs, then minicamp, then the break, then training camp. What's the Mike McCarthy line of thinking with breaking it up and having the mandatory minicamp in between the OTAs?
Well, part of it is, you kind of get young players after the mandatory minicamp, their reps. And I figure what Mike McCarthy thinks is, okay, we put the mandatory minicamp early. The vets get to go home early. They get to do what their trainers want to do and what they want to do, and the young guys stick around, and that's probably what's going to end up happening. But I also think, and I think part of it is, okay, let's get Aaron Rodgers in here, early, and let's see if he can maybe come for the second half of OTAs. I think that's part of it. He's going to sign before mandatory minicamp. I think that's the expectation for everyone. And so that might be part of it. But I do think there's try to get young players as much time in front of coaches as you can and try to get them as many reps as you can. I mean, Mike McCarthy has kind of talked about this, how while they have so many veterans there and they really like that, sometimes you just want the young guys to get as many reps as that you can, because in training camp, you're playing on go and you're trying to get this team ready for week 1. So those young guys aren't getting as many reps just down to down as they would in the spring. So that's definitely part of it. And I think it's mostly focused on developing the rookies and other young players into bigger roles.
There you have it. Nick Farabaugh, Steelers beat writer for PennLive.com. My friend, as always, appreciate you taking some time. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate it as always.
There he goes. Check him out at PennLive.com and on Twitter at Farabaugh_FB. Fan weather brought to you by Secure Money Advisors. Looking to retire soon? Let Secure Money Advisors get your retirement on track. Sunny but cooler today. A high of Eric Carlson, 65 degrees. We pivot to the Buccos, who go for the sweep this afternoon against the Brew Crew. Colin Beasley in Milwaukee will join us, and we'll get you straight for the Sunday same-game parlay and set the stage for the Buccos and the Brewers. Carmen Majinski this afternoon goes for the Pirates at 2:10 against Kyle Harrison, the lefty for Milwaukee. We'll get the Beeswackers' take on it coming up next on a Sunday morning right here with Jack Hillgrove. It's Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Now, Fan Headlines, powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
Sean Myers with your fan headlines. The Pirates win in 10 innings, 6-3 on Saturday against the Milwaukee Brewers. Nick Gonzalez had 3 hits. Pirates, Brewers today, 2:10. First pitch coverage on 93.7 The Fan begins at 12:30, presented by Keystone Custom Apparel. Headlines are powered by Bowser Chevrolet. For more, 937thefan.com.
Have you noticed that every service company these days is owned by some giant corporation with zero personality and no personal touch? Yeah, no thanks. Gherkin Roofing is still family-owned, truly local, and when you call, a human answers. One with a pulse and probably a Pittsburgh accent. They do roofing, siding, gutters, and win awards year after year for their customer service. So if you want a contractor that picks up the phone, shows up, and treats you like a neighbor, because they are one, call The Pickle. Gherkin Roofing, always local and friendly, 724-515-5551. one.
Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi North Huntington's spring sales drive is on, and the year's best deals on new Outlanders are here. And now through April 30th, take home a new 2026 Mitsubishi Outlander with premium interior, advanced safety, and third row seating starting under $30,000. Get yours today for 2.99% APR for 60 months. And with our trade assistance, get $3,000 minimum for your trade when you purchase a new vehicle.
Your deal.
Your way.
What a great day.
At Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi North Huntington. Call 724-995-3658 for offer details.
HD1 Pittsburgh, an Odyssey Sports Station. Live from the Jim Shorkey Mitsubishi.com studios, North Huntington and North Hills. Always live and free on the Odyssey app.
Cohen Markets is introducing Crave Wraps. Each one comes on a 7-inch tortilla wrapped around one of their famous chicken tenders. Try all 7 varieties or build your own. Get the wrap you crave, now 2 for just $5. Cohen Markets, your fulfilling station.
It's time to spring into action with BetMGM Casino. This season, they're bringing you thrills like you've never seen before. New customers can enjoy a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 on the house using bonus code HOMETOWN at sign up. Slots, table games, and live dealer games are always in bloom and always available from the palm of your hand at BetMGM Casino. Download the BetMGM Casino app today and get a piece of the action this spring season. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. BetMGM.com for T's and C's. Must be 21 and over to wager. Pennsylvania only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable site credits and/or bonus bets unless otherwise provided in the applicable terms. Rewards subject to expiry.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a warehouse operations manager.
Where are the forklifts?
Sold them. Too expensive. We're using scooters now.
So you expect us to move a 2-ton pallet on a scooter?
Just lean into it. Put your back into it, people.
This is your job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Text us on the Edgar Snyder and Associates text line at 412-928-9370. Edgar Snyder and Associates reminds you to text responsibly. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, built by Window Nation, home of the buy 2 get 2 free offer.
Mike Rowe here with a random fact. More than half of the homes that have basements in North America will experience water damage. It's true. Whether it's basement moisture, flooding, or bowing walls, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys. They're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Baker's Waterproofing is now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Must finance HML low APR tier 1 through 2. Atlanta 24 monthly, 7,500 miles per year. $39.99 due at signing. MSRP 24,110. All offers plus tax, acquisition fee, title plates, and dealer dock fee. Not all buyers are qualifying in stock units only. Offers at 4/30/26.
Get to Mike Hamlin Hyundai for huge spring savings. Drive the new 2026 Hyundai Tucson SE with 0% financing for 60 months. Or lease the new 2026 Hyundai Elantra SE with payments as low as just $69 a month. MikeHamlinHyundai.com. All Mike Hamlin Hyundais are backed by owner insurance. America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. And the Mike Hamlin Advantage oil changes for life.
Hockey is a passion for fans of the sport, but also for the youth who fall in love with the game. With the ever-increasing cost of participating in hockey, many families face financial challenges. The Assisted Goals Foundation was founded to remove financial barriers and to create lasting growth in the sport for current and future players of all backgrounds and communities. Help the Assisted Goals Foundation make the game of hockey available and accessible to anyone, anywhere, at any time. You too can provide an assist. Donate today at assistedgoals.org.
Hey, it's Pony back to talk about Xfinity. Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs change, kids grow up, new memes come out. But what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Well, thanks to the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you don't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need them the most, that finds and fixes any issues before you even notice them. It's like a super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from online threats. threats. You get incredible gaming speeds on multiple devices and no one battling for bandwidth. For the next 5 years, all your devices will be working in perfect harmony, and you get our best equipment with no annual contracts, no fees, and no strings. So even though kids will grow up and you still won't understand what the X67 means, your internet will stay sharp, reliable, and most importantly, the price will stay put. Plus, get online in 5 minutes with same-day Wi-Fi, all with the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. To get started, call or visit Xfinity.com or drop into an Xfinity store today. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
At Kohl's, spring style starts with the season's best shoe sale and continues with 15% off the rest of your looks. But with great outfits from Kohl's, what happens next is unexpected. Strangers ask where you shop. The breeze feels like it's blowing just for you. Your kids post for photos willingly. Yep, great spring outfits can do that kind of thing. Find yours at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles, offers end April 26th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Your hometown building partner since 1956. 84 Lumber. Visit 84lumber.com.
Refresh your ride this spring at Joe Ball GMC. Get a new GMC Sierra 1500 or Sierra 2500 for just $99 over invoice on all in-stock models. Don't wait. Your new truck is ready today. Joe Ball GMC, Route 8 Glenshaw, JoeBallGM.com.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Pittsburgh International Airport's on-site parking provides the most convenient and cost-efficient parking options. The shuttle lot is in close proximity to the new terminal with a less than 10-minute travel time by shuttle, offering the lowest price parking option when you book early at parkatpitt.com. Visit parkatpitt.com to review all parking options and receive special offers. That's parkatpitt.com.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at Amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEBNOW1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Now, fan headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
Sean Myers bringing you fan headlines. The Pirates prevailed 6-3 in 10 innings in Milwaukee against the Brewers on Saturday. Buccos look to sweep that series with first pitch at 2:10 today, but our coverage begins at 12:30 right here on 93.7 The Fan, and that was beginning with the North Shore Tavern leadoff show. Headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet. For more, 937thefan.com.
If it matters in Pittsburgh sports, we're talking about it. Even on the weekend. That's cool. Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan, Pittsburgh's hometown sports station.
Fan Twitter brought to you by South Hills Kia in Peters Township. Visit them at southhillskia.net. All right, we're on a time crunch. So I'm going to do the Sunday same game parlay now. We'll reiterate it one more time before we say goodbye, but I want to get this in now so we can get Colin Beasley to react to it. The Pirates go for the sweep today at 2:10 at Milwaukee. I'm fine with 2 out of 3, and I'm not super high on them winning today. So Brewers' money line is a part of it. Brewers going over 3.5 runs is another leg. Kyle Harrison, their starter, over 5.5 strikeouts. That's leg number 3. Connor Griffin, let's keep it rolling. 2+ total bases. And on Colin Beasley's recommendation yesterday saying, I like Nick York against the lefty, Nick York to record a hit today. So a Nick York hit, Harrison over 5.5 punch-outs, Brewers over 3.5 runs, Griffin, 2+ total bases. Brewers money line is the Sunday same game parlay. Colin Beasley joins us from Milwaukee to break it all down. Colin, your thoughts on the 5 legs I've got here, and one of your glowing recommendations, Nick York today.
Yeah, good morning, Jack. Thanks for taking my recommendation, and yeah, I think that's a fair parlay. I think that all of those are certainly likely. The reason why I like Nick York is just because I'm not expecting Brandon Lau to start today, just considering it is a lefty and end of a trip, but mostly lefty splits. Nick York is someone that's hit the ball really well. Like he's had a lot of hard contact. He isn't striking out a lot, but he's in a slump. So against the lefty, I think that it's a good opportunity for him to kind of get out of that slump a little bit in a non-super analytical way. It just seems like he's due. So that's why I recommended Nick York, and that's why I like your parlay.
Connor Griffin seems like he's figuring it out, doesn't it?
Yeah, don't let the kid get hot. He had a little bit of a concerning series in Texas going hitless, but over the last 2 games, it looks like he's found some confidence, found some swing. I kind of feel like the first career home run kind of took a weight off his shoulders. It seems like he's no longer desperately trying to hit that first home run, no longer pressing at the plate. He took 2, not 1, but 2 100-mile-an-hour pitches from Jacob Misiorowski yesterday and turned them into hits. Or I think the second was a slider, but still 2 hits against Misiorowski is impressive. I've been impressed by his approach of late, and I'm looking forward to seeing if it can continue.
So one of the reasons, and I've been high on this group, Colin Beasley, all season long, 16-11 after the win yesterday, but I look at it like this. So Paul Skeens does what Paul Skeens did on Friday night, and he's this team's ace and shut down the Brewers, almost did something historic. But then the Pirates see the Brewers stud the next day, and they're able to score 3 runs off of him. Yeah, Misiorowski had 9 strikeouts, but they were able to get to Milwaukee's ace when a team like the Brewers, or they're going to be competing with, or at least we hope so, still couldn't get to Paul Skeens. Like, this offense, again, it's just another layer to me that proves that, like, you know, once upon a time, you see a guy like Misiorowski or another team's ace, and it was, yeah, thanks for coming out before the first pitch was even thrown. But, you know, again, Skeens shuts them down. Pirates see their ace, and they're able to produce some runs off of them. I mean, that's cause for hope. Am I correct?
Yeah, when Misiorowski struck out 4 in the first 2 innings, and I saw the first at-bat was like 103, 103, 101, 102, I thought that it might be one of those nights for the Pirates, and they found a way to get runs against them. They found a way to win. I think one of the more impressive things is that it wasn't a day where it was a bunch of guys hitting home runs or it came as a result of extra base hits. The Pirates didn't have a single extra base hit yesterday, but they were able to stack hits together, find ways to move guys over that either walked or were hit by a pitch or take advantage of a couple of free passes. And they didn't need some big hit or some big homer to score 6 runs. They did it all through singles. So I think that's a really good sign, and that's something that's sustainable in my mind.
How do you think the lineup, Colin, potentially shakes out today? I mean, O'Neal Cruz, 0 for his last 10. Is he in there today? Do you anticipate potentially a day off with him against the lefty, despite, you know, him hitting left-handed pitching, you know, well this season?
It could make sense. I think that he's still someone you want to have in the lineup as much as possible. My guess is he'd still be in the lineup. We've only seen him I don't have his baseball reference page in front of me, but I believe he only had the 1 day off, and that was the second game after what happened opening day. So I think he'll probably still be in there just because he is very important to the Pirates, and even if he is struggling a bit right now, I think that they still want to have him in the lineup. But with the lefty, I do expect there to be some changes. I wouldn't expect Brandon Lau. I'd expect both Nick York and Nick Gonzalez in the lineup, and I'd expect it to be a right-hand heavy lineup on this Sunday.
Should Pirates fans be concerned about Bubba Chandler? Got roughed up on Thursday night in Texas, 7 hits, gave up 6 runs. The ERA creeping up towards 5, and the command was obviously something that he struggled with in his most recent start as well. 46 strikes on 78 pitches. Is there cause for concern yet from the young right-hander?
I'll start by saying that I have no doubt that he's going to find a way to get out of it and find ways to continue to evolve as a pitcher. He still is very young, and he's only in the first 15 or so starts of his major league career. So he's still figuring some things out, and it's still very early. But honestly, I was a little bit concerned about the start Thursday because we've seen Chandler struggle with command before. We've seen that happen, and that is certainly an issue. That's something that he needs to continue to address. But what we haven't seen is, apart from the one start against Milwaukee last year, is when he's struggling with his command and he's struggling with being hit hard. He threw some good pitches on Thursday in Texas, and the Rangers were still making good contact off of him. They were still hitting the ball hard. That first inning, he gave up leadoff singles, 2 of them in a row, and both of them were like on the corner of the strike zone. And that's something where if he's executing his pitches, he shouldn't be having hard contact. Yeah, maybe walks will be a thing. That's kind of who Bubba Chandler is, but he's not someone who usually gets hit hard, and he was hit hard Thursday. So I'm not panicked about it, but it did kind of it raised some eyebrows. I was surprised to see that sort of performance out of him, and I am interested to see how he responds. The Milwaukee start last year, he responded really well. He'll have to do the same again this year.
Colin Beasley, Pirates beat writer for the Post-Gazette, joining us for a couple of more minutes. Jared Triolo started the rehab stint earlier this week as he works his way back to the big club, but how does he fit back into it, Colin? Because, yes, obviously he provides the Gold Glove defense, but, Nick Gonzalez, when he's been on a run, it's like, if Nick York's not hitting it well, Gonzalez seems to have been picking up the slack and vice versa, and that's been it seems like a pretty good tandem or a platoon at third base in the absence of Triolo. How does that shake out when Triolo comes back, and what's the timetable for him?
Yeah, I wrote about that last night, and I'm not sure the exact timetable and how long the Pirates want Triolo to continue running the bases. I'd guess it's not too long. He hasn't missed that much time, but with that sort of injury, I'm sure they'll be careful and make sure he's fully ready to return before he's back up here. I am interested to see how it splits out because you're right, Nick Gonzalez has performed really well. I believe over the last 6 games, he's hitting something like 440 on a 6-game hitting streak, of course. And I do feel like both he and York have an opportunity to cut into Triolo's playing time and kind of establish themselves as a starter in this stint. Nick York was swinging the bat really well earlier. Gonzalez is swinging the bat really well right now. And yes, Triolo is a huge upgrade defensively. I still think that he'll get opportunities because of that. I don't see a situation where someone's going to get even 80% of the starts, but I do think both Gonzalez and York have the opportunity to earn more playing time right now and earn a bigger role. And so far, Nick Gonzalez is doing that.
Last one for you, Colin. It was the headline of one of your takeaways, and it kind of blew me away when I read it last night. The Pirates win their first 3 series against NL Central teams for the just 3rd time in the last 32 years. It is as if the Pirates needed another feather in the cap of this team might be different in 2026. That is certainly an eye-opening number. And again, comparing the way that these two, they played against these 2 teams last year, the Cubs and the Brewers. Again, it's April, but they look better than a team for the lack of a better term just whooped their butts last year in Milwaukee and Chicago.
Yeah, that's a fair way to say what the Brewers did to the Pirates last year. The Pirates went 1-5 in Milwaukee against the Brewers last year. They're already 2-0, already improved on that. And yeah, starting off with 3 consecutive series wins against the NL Central is impressive. What I was impressed by, and honestly, I was there for all the games, but I didn't realize until Isaac Matheson pointed it out for me, is that all three of these series were on the road. You took 2 of 3 at Wrigley, took 2 of 3 in Cincinnati, now took 2 of 2, potentially 2 of 3, 3 of 3, whatever, in Milwaukee. That's a sign of a good team. That's a sign of good pitching, and it's also not like the NL Central is weak this year. Every single team is at 500 or above. The Brewers are now at 500. This is a good division, and the Pirates are winning games against the division, winning games that they will have to win if they want to either compete for the division later this season or just in general compete for a playoff slot. So that's something that I've been impressed by. That's something that needs to continue. And yeah, third time in 32 years, that does show this team is at least doing something different early. We'll see if it can continue.
Bucks go for the sweep at 2:10 this afternoon. Kyle Harrison against Carmen Mlodzinski as the Pirates try to sweep the Brewers and get to 6 games above 500. Colin Beasley, Pirates beat writer for the Post-Gazette. Appreciate you as always, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me, Jack. Appreciate it.
There he goes, the beeswacker, as Joe Starkey calls him. Fan text line brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates, personal injury law firm. They always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. Thanks to Sean Myers. Thanks to Colin. Thanks to Nick Farabaugh. Thanks to you for calling, texting, watching, and listening. We'll talk to you Thursday night. It's More Ways to Win Radio with FanDuel and Pony. Coming up next, I'm Jack Hillgrove at Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Now, Fan Headlines, powered by Bowser Chevrolet.
Sean Myers with your fan headlines. The Penguins avoid elimination, a 4-2 victory on Saturday in Philadelphia against the Flyers. That means Game 5 Monday back in Pittsburgh at 7. Headlines powered by Bowser Chevrolet. For more, 937thefan.com.
93.7 The Fan is cleared by aquickdrain.com.
I'm Walter Naylor, owner of A Quick Drain Service. Since 1969, we've been going down the drain so you don't have to. We specialize in older home plumbing repairs and service. Trust us to get the job done right. Call 724-222-1095. Ask us about senior military and first responder discounts.